Hey guys, I'm doing okay. I'm just really scared because I have a lot that I have to do. I talked to a sexual assault detective and I have to go sit in a room and talk about my rape and talk about what happened all over again after doing it with my lawyer and a police officer. I have to once again explain to someone how I got raped. This is the price that I knew I would have to pay if I broke my silence and came forward. I knew I would have to do this. I just have to explain what happened to me once again in front of a detective. One thing I would say is, I don't know what they're going to do. I don't even know if they're going to do anything at all. But one thing I would say is, like I said before, if me coming forward, breaking my silence, and making a documentary, if it could just help one person get away from Elijah, if it could just keep one person from being treated the same way that he treated me, if I could just keep one person from being treated like he treated me for 6 months, then I could go to sleep easier at night. I could go to bed knowing that I got to at least help one person get away from that sick son of a bitch. And that makes it all right at the end of the night. That makes it all right. And it makes me feel much better.
I remember love. And I remember you. And I remember when I fell in love with you. But you are not love. You are evil. I remember when I laid down and he sent me a message. And I said, "What's your name?" And he said, "My name's Elijah." And I said, "Well, my name is Jay. Do you want to work with me? We could be partners. I'm looking for someone to collab with me." And he said, "Yeah." And I didn't know at that time who he was and what he was. But he didn't know at that time who I was. On October 9th, in 2023, I released a documentary about how I survived being raped by my ex-boyfriend, Elijah Thomas. And about 2 months after I released that documentary, I discovered, by taking witness statements and gathering evidence, that another boy, 21 years old, had been raped by Elijah as well. In this documentary, he has allowed me to record him talking about his rape. And I've decided to include it so that you all can see it for yourselves. Please be warned that this documentary and visual album contains disturbing messages and witness statements. Viewer discretion is advised.
God damn.
Everybody get up on your feet. Come on. I am the original KOG. You're never gonna see another man like me. Ain't no other nigga got the soul I got. I'm smarter than a scholar and I'm piping hot. Now I ran my race, I kept my pace. I got all the power and a pretty face. Niggas mad at me cause they can't be J. If you got a problem you can catch this fade, cause I'm the king of this day. That's me. Respect me, KOG. I'm the KOG. I'm the KOG. I'm the KOG. That's me. You will respect me, KOG. I'm the KOG. I'm the KOG. I'm the KOG. I put a spell on you, I'm the king of the witches. I'm so fine, I'm also the king of bad bitches. Nigga try to test me, he'll be covered in stitches. Niggas mad at me cause I'm covered in riches. Now I ran my race, I kept my pace. I got all the power and a pretty face. Niggas mad at me cause they can't be J. If you got a problem, you can catch this fake, cause I'm the king of the game. That's me. Respect me, KOG. KOG, KOG, KOG. That's me. You will respect me. If he got a problem, he can catch this fade. If he got a problem, he can catch this fade, nigga. That's me. And you will respect me, bitch. You're never gonna find another man like me. I'm the KOG, the KOG, the KOG. I'm the KOG, yeah, I'm the KOG, the KOG, KOG. I'm the KOG, that's me. Respect me. I'm the king of the game.
Hello, I'm Jay Hunter, King of the Gays. And if you're watching this, then that means about 7 days ago, I released my documentary, The Boy in St. Regis. A telling true crime documentary about the heinous acts that I suffered with my ex-boyfriend, Elijah Rashad Thomas, who raped me on October 9th in 2022 in his own home in St. Regis. With that documentary, I was able to protect my LGBT community from a predator who used a dating app to prey on people while not disclosing with all of his sex victims his STD history and status. And now I'm back. I'm back from the cleanse. I've taken a bath, a nice warm one. And I'm back to make a new documentary. I came out of the fires to let you know that I'm a thorough ass nigga and I'm gonna die one. And one thing that we have to understand is that I did not just come forward because I wanted some big spectacle about the abuse that I suffered. No, I came forward because I met two of his victims. And as I looked into one of his victims' faces, all I could see was myself. And it compelled me to come forward because I was desperately afraid that all of the horrible things that he did to me, he would do to someone else. And so I stood firm, I stood strong, and I told my story, knowing that I could be possibly ridiculed for it, knowing that I could be alienated for it. So now you know why I call myself the King of the Gays. It is a title that I gave myself around the same time that I was making the documentary for The Boy in St. Regis. I was walking down the street trying to find me a good lawyer. Not for him at the time, but for something else that I was involved in. Around the same time that I was making The Boy in St. Regis, I spoke on the phone with 3 people from the LGBT community who cried to me and complained to me that they had suffered the same discrimination that I had suffered. These people, one of them was a transgender man, a bisexual woman, and a gay man. I listened to their testimonies over the phone as they cried. My lawyer, who happens to be a damn good, fine lawyer, is transgender, and she specializes in LGBT cases. And she assisted me. So yes, I sacrificed my own mental well-being to come forward and tell people that I was with a notorious predator who used Jacked as an underground sexcapade to help fuel his cocaine and meth-addicted lust. And even though I had a predator of an ex-boyfriend who tried his hardest to keep everything on Jacked and Grindr so that he cannot have any evidence built against him, with my mind and with the help of my family and my testimonials and my witnesses, I was able to still build a strong case against him to help protect my LGBT community from him. One thing about me is you can't silence me.
It's my tongue, I can say what I want. It's my gun, I speak up if you want. I got the power to speak up against injustice. I'ma fight the enemy, yeah. You can't silence me, 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 you can't silence me. Jump! Jump, 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 jump. You can't silence me, 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 you can't silence me. It's my tone, I speak up for my people, it's my gun, fight the forces of evil. I got the power to speak up against injustice. I fight the enemy, you can't silence me, 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 you can't silence me. Jump, 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 stop, jump, jump,
So I'm sitting here and I'm thinking to myself, there's so many things. If I would have told y'all everything that Elijah did to me, that documentary would have been 5 hours long, because that is how long it originally was. And I had to cut it down. But I'm sitting here thinking to myself, 3 weeks after the rape happened, I sat on Elijah's bed. Sometime before he left for Thanksgiving, I sat on the edge of his bed and I reminded him, I said, do you remember how you were acting that night when I was asking for the water? I kept asking. And do you know what that son of a bitch said to me? He looked at me and he said, oh, you mean when I raped you? And he had a smile on his face. And do you know that was in the documentary? But do you know I took it out
And the reason why I took it out is because I did not think that nobody would understand that somebody could say that. I took it out, but I should have left it so people could understand. And do you know what I said to him after he said that? I said, Elijah, I said, you cannot joke about that. You cannot say it like that. I didn't even want to really talk about it, but I just wanted to see if he remembered because we had talked about it once. And after that, I tried to move on past it. And I didn't even know how severe the rape was until 6 months later when I finally got me a fucking therapist to explain to me. But you know what? You know what a lot of people don't understand? When I said that sometimes I used to lay on the floor and cry when he was abusing me, the reason why is because I didn't have a bed when I was with Elijah because I couldn't afford one in my apartment. Elijah, when I called you, when I text you, when I responded back to you on Jacked and I said, do you want to make content? The reason why is because I wanted money. I wanted money so that I could afford to feed myself, so that I could get a bed. Elijah's bed was the only bed that I had. When he was abusing me like that for 6 months, I literally came back and slept on the floor. You can ask my fucking mom and she'll tell you because she was here with me. I slept on the fucking floor. So Elijah's bed was the only fucking bed that I had. And this son of a bitch, after he was done wiping his feet on me, he would tell me to go home. And I came after time because he tricked me and he manipulated me into thinking that he was going to change just to do it all over again. So yes, after I would lay in his bed, I would come back here and cry because of how he was treating me like dog shit. And I laid on the floor and cried my eyes out week after week, month after month, while he laid up in his bed. Elijah, when you met me, you had a nice apartment. You had a car. You had a job. I didn't have shit. And I collab with you so I can finally get myself things because I was tired of working dead-end jobs just for me to come home and for you to ask me to delete the videos. And because I had a fucking heart, I deleted them just for you to fucking rape me the fucking next week. And do you know what I got to do? You know what I told my mom after I came home from the police office talking to a detective? You know what I told my mom when I came home? I said, I wish I would have just hung myself instead of coming forward. And do you know why? Because after I told my lawyer how you raped me, and after I told a police officer how you raped me on a recorded message, I had to then go tell a detective how you raped me. And every time I tell somebody how you raped me, it just reminds me that I should have fucking reported your ass when you first fucking did it. But do you know what I did? You know what I did? Instead of fucking reporting you the next day like I should have did, I fucking helped you. I fucking helped you. Instead of fucking reporting you like I should have did, I should have went to the police station the next fucking day and said, this fucking idiot fucking raped me on fucking cocaine. This fucking, I heard fucking asked you for water. I asked you to stop multiple times and you did not. Not only did you not stop, not only did you not fucking stop, but then you fucking told me when I could get the fucking water. It'd be done. You can get the water after we're done fucking. And then once I fucking laid there, you fucking told me what to do and controlled me. After that, you fucking grabbed my penis and you know you did. And you said, when you come, tell me because I want to put it in my mouth. And do you know what I should have did? I should have went to that police office and I should have fucking reported you. I should have fucking reported you. But instead, I tried to help you. And do you know what you did when I tried to help you get off the cocaine? Do you know what you did? Because I helped you and because I stuck it out and tried to get you off that coke and get you off that meth. You know what you did? You fucking spit in my fucking face. You fucking spit in my face and then you fuck people that I went to school with. You fuck my friends. You fuck my fucking colleagues. You fuck people that I did music videos with. And do you know what I did when I came home from the police office? Do you know what I did? I thought about it. Was it really something that you could have done when he fucking raped you the first time? Was there anything you could have did? But you know what I did? I tried to fight it. I tried to deny it. I tried to act like it didn't happen. I tried to act like it wasn't real because I couldn't understand that somebody had done that to me when all I tried to do was be kind to them. You asked me to delete the fucking videos. I deleted them without question. I deleted them. And then that's how you fucking repay me. You repay me by fucking raping me, knowing all I needed was a fucking friend. All I needed was somebody to fucking care for once. That's all I fucking needed.
You know what? Every fucking day I think about hanging myself in this closet because of you. Because I can't fucking think about the fact that I let somebody fuck me for 6 months while they was abusing me. I fucking tried to give you everything that I fucking had inside of me, and all you fucking did at the end of the day was spit in my fucking face. Every fucking day I just want to fucking hang myself because I can't stand the thought that I let you near me, that I let you have access to my body. And do you know what? You know what I'm gonna do? Instead of fucking killing myself, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna spend the rest of my career helping people escape you. I'm gonna spend the rest of my career making sure that you never fucking do to nobody else what you did to me. Instead of jumping in that fucking creek like I tried to do in November, I took a stand. And I don't give a fuck what nobody said. I took a stand because for 3 fucking nights, all I could do in April, all I could do was think about what you did to me. And after it was all over, after you got done wiping your feet on me, you fucking told me that maybe we could be friends, but now never, because I tried to fucking check on your fucking dumb ass. You should have got what you got a long time ago. You should have got it a long fucking time ago. And to anybody in Elijah's family that just wants some peace and just wants some solace, I offer them the same thing that he offered me when I asked for his love and affection, when I asked for him to fucking care. A spit in the face.
You know you played me and you raped me and you ripped my heart out. You try to throw me in the trash, you know I was no clown. You know I see through all your lies, I found out all your crimes. Oh yeah. And didn't Annie teach you not to run around in the streets? You thought your ass was undefeated till the day you met me. You not gon' get by this time, no, not this time. Oh yeah. Before you try me, please remember how I did, homie. I ain't worried about what they gotta say about me. All them little rumors, I ain't worried about it. Ooh, dressed in all black, I'ma wear it to his funeral. Dressed in all black, I'ma wear it to his funeral. Thought that shit was sweet, I'm gon' chill at his funeral. Oh, he had to learn, we gon' get a turn. You thought I was gon' sit around and write another set song. You thought your ass was gon' slide by, I guess your black ass was wrong. You not gon' get by this time, no, not this time. Oh yeah. Before you try me, please remember how I did, homie. I ain't worried about what they gotta say about me. All them little rumors, I don't care about it. Dressed in all black, I'ma wear it to his funeral. Dressed in all black, I'ma wear it to his funeral. Thought that shit was sweet, I'm gon' chill at his funeral.
Hey y'all. So every time I feel sad, I want to record myself. I don't know how much longer I'll be in this apartment, but a lot of the songs that I recorded for the Boy in St. Regis, I recorded in this very apartment. The album cover for the Boy in St. Regis, I took it right in front of this closet right here with the door missing, as you can see. The thing about I'm wearing my scarf. This is my scarf that I wear whenever I get sad or whenever I think about the rape or whenever I think about the abuse that Elijah caused me. I put this scarf over my head and it just makes me feel comfort. For some strange reason, it just makes me feel comfortable. So I put it on it. I'm getting ready to go to bed, and I just want to say something. I'm an honest person. I've always tried to be an honest person. But one thing I will say is, do you know the reason why it took me so long to realize how severe my rape was? I didn't want to believe that someone had done that to me. And as a man, and this is what the police officer told me, as a man, we don't want to admit to ourselves, because I didn't want to believe it, but he knew that he did it to me. And when we talked, when I had that intervention with him, the look on his face was shame. I looked like a goddamn fool when I was in that therapy. And I found out that I wasn't really shit to him. I was not shit to him. Elijah probably didn't even like me. He just saw somebody that was stupid enough to stay through the abuse, and he just took advantage of it. That's all. You know, I didn't even really know how severe love bombing was until my therapist told me love bombing is just somebody pretending to love you so that they can control you. I will never forget having to walk through my own rape in therapy, having to go through each thing that he did to me. 2 days before I dropped the documentary, I walked to the store thinking that I was over it, thinking that I had finally got it out of my mind. 2 days before I dropped the documentary, I told my mom that on my way to Family Dollar, I remembered him raping me, and a tear just came down my eye while I'm at the light trying to cross the street. Because I remember him looking at me, grabbing my penis, and saying, tell me when you come, so I can put it in my mouth. After I told him to stop 3 times, after I begged him for water, after he bounced up and down on me and forced himself on me, after I just laid there, I thought about that and I said, Jay, I didn't even fully process it yet. One thing I found out for sure when I got in my therapy is that it wasn't because of the drugs that he raped me. It wasn't because of the drugs. It was because that sick son of a bitch just wanted control over my body. And the more I remembered the abuse that he made me suffer while I tried to help him get clean, the more I realized that rape was just his true nature. That was just him. That was just my sex addict of a boyfriend who fucked everybody in my city. So what I've been doing for the past couple of days is doing choreography rehearsals, dancing and singing. It helps with when I remember the abuse that I went through. It helps a lot. This is my practice mic that I always practice with this mic. I always have when I am at home and I want to do my dance moves with a mic in my hand. And I just wanted to take the time out to say, you know, psychological torture and psychological abuse and verbal abuse and emotional abuse in relationships is so serious, and so many people don't know just how serious that it is. You know, during my times, you know, when you're dating a drug addict, you know, you don't realize that they're abusing you just as much as they're abusing the drugs. You know, Elijah, he, you know, everybody else
was, you know, getting flowers and candy on Valentine's Day, I got to find out that my boyfriend was single on Snapchat. That's what he did. And this was just 2 days after him making love to me, telling me he's going to take me to see his family. And, and you know, he did things like that on purpose. He knew that I would open up the Snapchat, and he knew I would see that. That was his way of torturing me. That is how he hurt me many times. You know, one of our dates, I called him to see would he go on a date with me to the Classic Cup and to go play pool. I told him I'd pay for everything. I called him at night to make sure that he really wanted to do it. Do you really want to do it? And he said yes. And he even told me good night. He said good night, and I'm like, okay, because I couldn't even get that out of him sometimes. And so the next day, I got dressed up and sat across from his apartment at the cafe just for him to tell me, I don't want to go. I don't want to go hang out. I want to get high, and I want something to eat. And I almost left. I almost went home, but he told me that he would come downstairs and let me in. And I spent that day sitting in his office chair, watching him and his friend get high. As I just sat there eating my little, because I ordered me some Jay's chicken, and I watched him get high with his friend. I didn't even know who this guy was. I had never met this guy in my life, but that's what he did. And so he found this guy on the dating app, and the guy came over, sat with him, and they got high together. And Elijah put on Key and Peele. And while he got high, he looked at Key and Peele, and he said, ha ha, I'm so high, hey, ha ha. After that, he ate up my food that I had. He ate up most of it. And then he just laid there in like kind of like this drug-induced coma. He just laid there on the bed like this. And I looked over at him and I said, look at my boyfriend, an addict. And I want to say something. If you're dating a drug addict, walk away. Don't try to stay. I'm telling you right now. Don't try to stay. Don't try to help them. You know, I try to help because he almost died from the drugs, but don't stay. You will lose your house. You will lose your car. Money will disappear. Walk away instantly when you find out. I know you don't want to, but do it. That's, you know. And Elijah had a way of getting inside of my head and torturing me. It wasn't just on the level of emotional abuse. It was a psychological torture. You know, one day he had asked me, could he put a dildo inside of him with my penis inside of him as well. And I really did not want to do it, but I tried it because I tried to give him what he wanted, because he made me feel like I could never make him happy. I was never enough to make him happy. That was another thing that he did. Continuously, no matter what I did, he made me feel like it wasn't enough so that I could try harder and harder, only to find out that it still wasn't enough. And so he put the sex toy inside of him with me, and that is how we had sex one time. I did not really thoroughly enjoy it, but it was just what I did. When you're with someone who constantly conditions you that you're not enough, eventually you get into this mood where you're trying to constantly please them. That's what his sick ass did to me. You know what he told me? He told me that he liked to be choked during sex. And I told him, I said, I don't want to choke you because I don't want to hurt you. And he said, you're not going to hurt me. You're not going to hurt me. And so one time after we had sex, he said, you're like soft. And he said, I like a man that lays down the law. So after I gave him everything that I could inside of me, he would just still go out there and find somebody to choke him harder, or that was more aggressive, all while taking countless weeks, months from me, because he couldn't find nobody out there at that time that was going to do all the things that I did, you know, cook for him. You know, one time he was getting ready for work and he said, hey, can you make some eggs? You know, so I was his maid, I was his cook, lover. You know, he could not lay down in bed without cuddling with me. You know, one time we were laying down his bed and he lifted the blanket and he said, get in here. He could not lay down without me holding him. But that very same person was doing everything they could to
psychologically torture me the entire time that we were together. And do you know what I thought when I got on those apps? Even though he was breaking up with me off and on, cheating on me, sleeping with all these men, all these strangers, you know what I thought to myself? Sometimes I checked that app, seeing that his light was green, because I was afraid, was someone gonna choke him too hard and kill him? I told my mom I wanted to get a tattoo. I don't like tattoos. I don't like anything permanent on my body. I already have a birthmark on my side of my leg that sometimes it used to make me feel uncomfortable. I like it now, but I don't really like permanent things on my body. I don't even like piercings. I hate pain. And I told my mom I wanted to get a tattoo on my wrist that said never again, so that if a man ever abused me or treated me like how Elijah treated me, I would look at that on my wrist and I would run. I promised myself that I would run. I promised my body, my mind, that I would never let a man ever again abuse me like Elijah did. Those were some of the worst times of my life, being with him. Sexual Assault Awareness Month is in April, and I plan on wearing my blue teal heart as I'm a victim of him. He raped me, sexually assaulted me, and I didn't even have time to think that I was a sexual assault survivor. You know, as a man, I didn't even really know it, really. But I'm just like everybody else that was raped. You know, whether it was by someone you knew or by someone who you did not know. I didn't even realize that until during the therapy, you know, because he raped me on October 9th while he was on cocaine. And he was like a wild animal on top of me. This is somebody who was supposed to be my friend, my content partner, who pursued me and who wanted to date me, just so that they could abuse me and use me for everything that I had inside of me. I'm so much stronger now, but I got a long journey ahead of me.
Hey, so I'm sitting here. I put on my scarf just because once again, as I'm trying to go to sleep, I'm thinking about the rape again. I came to the realization a few days ago. I just feel so stupid. I thought to myself, you know I said that he was a manipulator. He was. He told me he was. But one thing that I didn't realize is when he called me to talk about the rape, he did that so that he can manipulate me from going to the police when it first happened. That call and that, first of all, he texted me to see if I was going to confess. He texted me. But notice that he called to talk about it. He didn't even have no more text information about it. He had already asked me about it. So that call, him acting like that and being like that was just him manipulating me to keep me from going to the police. And all the abuse that I suffered after that was just him. That was just him. He manipulated me to keep me from going to the police. That's why he called me. Because he knew what he did. Elijah knew that I lived next door to a police station. He knew it. That's where he first picked me up. When we first met, we met right by the police station. He was always so smart. And, you know, the emotional distress that I went through after him was so horrible. You know, somebody called me and told me, because they was letting me know things about him, and somebody called me and said, you know, he let me and my boyfriend take turns on him. They said he let me and my boyfriend hit. I heard that, you know, that was said to me while I was at work over the phone. Somebody told me that over the phone. If I would have reported him to that police station, I would have never had to go through any of that, but he manipulated me. He tried to make me feel sorry for him because he knew that he almost died, and he knew because of the cocaine, he knew that if he could say the right thing, he could trick me into feeling sorry for him, and that's what he did. Our entire relationship, that's what he did.
You know, Pastor Elliot Tyler was a friend of my grandfather's. He came to our church on one of our anniversaries. And during this time, I was still in the closet. I was playing the organ like a sweet, innocent boy, getting paid peanuts to do it because I wasn't paid a salary, but they threw me a little something to keep me quiet every now and then while fucking me over for money. And so do you know what Pastor Elliot Tyler did? I was about 18 when I was playing on the organ. Do you know what Pastor Tyler did? He decided to have a prophecy hour in which he prophesied to people all over our church community. People were coming up and he was saying what they were going to have. You're going to have this, you're going to have that, you're going to do this. And do you know what, now mind y'all, I didn't come out the closet until I was 23. To my mom and to Facebook. But do you know what Pastor Tyler did when I was playing that organ as an innocent 18-year-old in the closet? Do you know what he did? Once he was prophesying, he looked at me and he said, you will never be a homosexual. I don't think he thought that I would come out with an album called The King of the Gays, but here we are. You know, the church continuously shut me out and closed me out because I came out as gay. But I didn't want to be accepted by those people anyway. But you know what? You know what the church did? The church shunned me for being open as a nude model. The church shunned me for being open as being gay. But you know what they did? They favored good Christian boys who went to college. I was never really supported by the church too much. But you know what? People who were goody-goodies like Elijah, they got favored and they got treated with a better look because not only were they masculine, because we know the church can't stand feminine men, but they held up that good Christian look. But you want to know something? On the night that Elijah raped me on October 9th, you want to know something? When I came to see him, he had to go smoke in the bathroom for an extremely long time. He had a little pipe that he smoked weed out of it. It was green, and he smoked weed out of it so he can get that maximum high. Do you know what? He was in there for so long that I started snooping around his apartment. And he had a Target bag because Elijah loved to shop at Target. And you know, while he was smoking, getting ready to have sex with me, I looked in his bag and I saw a book, a journal about how to get closer to God, how to be in God's favor. And about an hour after I saw those books that he had, he raped me while being high on cocaine. So I don't give a fuck about your God or your religion, because that boy had books about how to get closer to God, but he was a raging sex addict who would use people, experimented on people's bodies while doing his drugs, while psychologically tearing down people in the LGBT community and treating me like pure shit. There was no God and there was no kindness in that.
This is right where I sat when I turned on that camera to do the Boy in St. Regis documentary. This is my wardrobe where I kept a lot of my costumes when I would do my pornography videos. And what I did was I opened up my home to you all, and I opened up my traumatic relationship to you all. I want you guys to understand something. When Elijah discarded me, do you think that I had a plan to do a documentary? No. I had a plan to get me a job and get a better life. I wore this very same sweater on April 4th when I had my orientation, and when I had checked on Elijah, someone who was a drug addict and someone who I knew was destroying his own life while he was trying to destroy mine. And I wore the same jacket when I saw him on my birthday, when he was with somebody else, and he looked at me as if I was absolutely nothing. And I realized that I was nothing to him.
I made a statement and I said Elijah never apologized to me for the abuse that he suffered to me while we were together because he thought that I was a piece of trash. That's what he thought that I was. But I'm not a piece of trash. I'm a king. If y'all think that it was my goal to drop a documentary after he discarded me, absolutely not. But I want y'all to understand something. Elijah's game was to use people, exploit people sexually, target people, prey on people while doing his drugs and torturing people. Would you want your son to look like how I looked in that documentary if they ran into Elijah? I got me a job and I tried to move on from him. I even went to the phone store the next day and I had tears in my eyes and I said, I want to get my number changed. And the reason why is because I didn't think that he would call me again. But I wanted to change my number because just in case there was ever a chance that he wanted to call, I wanted to make sure that there was no way that I would ever know. And they told me I couldn't change my number because they said that I had to pay a full bill to change my number. And I didn't have it at that time. I didn't have the money. And so I couldn't do that. I didn't think blocking him would work because what if I just unblocked him? So I just tried to move on. But about 3 weeks later, I met somebody who told me that he had done them the same way that he had did me. And they weren't 27 years old like me. They were 21, fresh into this world. And they kind of looked like me a little bit. And I saw myself and I said, not only did he do what he did to you, to someone else, because I thought that I was the only one that he was abusing for a while. Not only did he do to someone else what he did to you, but he's doing it still. Elijah got on that dating app after we had broke up, and he changed his name of his app to monogamy. And then he changed it to friendship. And I'm telling you right now, those are two things that he does not want. He does not want to be your friend. He told me he wanted to be my friend. He told me he wanted to date me. And you all know that about 2 weeks later, he raped me while he was on cocaine. It could be your son next. And that's what I knew. That boy that I talked to that sat on that couch, he had already been raped before by someone else. Not by Elijah, but by someone else. And when Elijah yelled at him and threatened him because he refused sex, I'm pretty sure that it triggered those feelings for him. I knew I had to take a stand. I promised myself I would do whatever I could to make sure that Elijah never treated someone else like he treated me. It could have been your son standing at that creek contemplating his life after dealing with a sick, horrible son of a bitch like Elijah. Someone who sexually uses people as objects. Someone who only sees people as an opportunity to be used. There is nobody on the face of this earth that I hate more than Elijah. I thought I would never hate nobody more than my dad. But there will never be a time where I will ever forgive him for the sick, horrible son of a bitch that he is. However, I decided that I would use my own platform to help protect you guys because he did not just psychologically abuse me. He did not just psychologically torment me. He slept with me knowing he had STDs. Besides that, he raped me while he was on cocaine. It could be your child. It could be your son next, your friend, your brother. He was still on that app after he discarded me. I took a stand. Elijah caused me emotional distress. After he discarded me, there were so many horrible things that I started to remember that he did to me more and more. And when you have a really strong memory like me, it's hard to get those things out of your mind. And this is what he does to people. One day I was crying so hard when I was thinking about how Elijah treated me. And I said, do you not think that his other victims don't look like this too? Do you think that I wanted somebody else to look like that after me? It's not just because he chronically cheated on me. It's not just because he was a sex addict. I came to see him and he had stains on his bed from the last guy that he was with. He didn't even think highly of me to clean his sheets before I came over. He just put a towel over it and then we laid down. He doesn't see people as, his sex victims are not humans to him. They are animals. They are objects to him. They're nothing to him. And what you have to understand in this life is that we got a choice to stand up for people who cannot stand up for themselves. I asked that boy, did he want to come and give a statement on Elijah? And he told me no. And so I knew that it was only up to me to give my statement about the rape that he dealt towards me on October 9th to help bring him to justice. It could have been your child that Elijah slept with next and psychologically abused next. You don't want your child to deal with the emotional distress that Elijah caused me. Hi guys, so I'm sitting here and during this time while I'm promoting The Boy in St. Regis,
I'm doing tarot love me readings for people. My friend got me these cards. My friend Kevin. Kevin is he was on the force for a long time. He was he's not works as a magistrate judge, and Kevin was one of the first people when I dropped my documentary. He was one of the first people to send me kind words. He actually was the first person. So to know that a judge had watched my documentary and that they were on my side, it made me feel like the law was on my side. But you know, when I spoke to the sexual assault detective about Elijah and everything that he did, I mentioned to him that it was sexual torture, it was psychological torture. But you know, I told the sexual assault detective something that I didn't put in the documentary. And the reason why is because I didn't have enough time. Guys, the documentary was originally 5 hours long. You guys don't, a lot of people don't know that. But the documentary was 5 hours long. And I said, I can't drop a documentary that's 5 hours. Nobody's going to watch that. So we had to bring it down to 3 hours and 54 minutes because there's so many things that he did to me that I didn't talk about, you guys. But the night after Elijah, well, the morning after he had raped me, he was supposed to be my ride home. I had no car to get back home. I didn't have, you know, I was wearing the clothes that I had took off before we had sex, and so, you know, I didn't want to walk home in those clothes. I felt embarrassed to leave his home and walk the streets, and so he agreed to be my Uber home. That was the agreement that we made. But he tried to like get me to pay for it, and I didn't have any money, so I said, "You were supposed to be my Uber home. I need to get home." Okay. While Elijah called my Uber, he asked me to finger him. Okay, guys? And I told the sexual assault detective that I did not want to do it. I did it because I needed a ride home. And Elijah had already started to kind of take control over everything. He always wanted control. That's what he always wanted. And something in me did it. But although when I did it, he was calling my Uber as I did it. He asked me to stick my fingers inside of him. And I did it. And I don't know what was going through my head. Maybe if I don't do this, he won't call my Uber home, because I had no way home. He was such a liar and such a deceiver and a manipulator that he had agreed to call my ride home. That was the whole agreement. I was going to come over there. I was going to shoot my porn with him, and I was going to go home. Well, the morning after he had raped me and traumatized me, as he's calling my Uber, which he did not want to do, I'm like, how am I going to get home? He's like, stick your fingers in me. Okay. And when I did it, he said, you're not doing it right. Go like this. Do like this inside of me. And I looked at him like, what is wrong with him? But you know, I told the sexual assault detective, because I was still new to everything. I didn't know about the drugs yet. I didn't know that he was a monster. I didn't know that he was an abuser. But I told the sexual assault detective, after I dropped the documentary and once I pressed charges against him, I told the sexual assault detective, I said, we were nothing but cattle to Elijah. That's all we were. When I first made this documentary, when we were out shooting all these videos for the Boy in St. Regis, I met this young kid, and he was so sweet to me. And he told me, he said, this video is going to blow up. He didn't know I was filming a documentary, but he said this video is going to blow up. And I posted them on my Twitter, and I made a statement. I said, Elijah liked to target young men on Jacked, and he wasn't educating them on STD awareness or drug abuse because he was spreading STDs and doing drugs. Someone has to care about these young gay men, and I've chosen to teach them, educate them. I use my own porn platform, knowing that people just want to see me naked or see me jack off on camera or see me get screwed on camera. I chose to use my own porn characters like Coach J to help educate people about chlamydia and syphilis. And I also use my porn platform to talk about the harmful effects of cocaine and meth, because I think that's all I wanted to do with Elijah, was to help him and be there for him. Of course, he didn't give a damn about me, but when he slept with these young men, he wasn't thinking about educating them. That was preserved for his college colleagues and the students, a part of his club that he was over. But his sex victims, no. We didn't get that good treatment. We were only used. That's all that we were to him, was objects. So these young men, I've chosen to target them just like him, but for a different purpose, not to use them, but to teach them and educate them, gay men, of the harmful effects of drugs and the harmful effects of sleeping with people without protection, learning about STDs. Somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to stop being selfish put down themselves and help pick somebody up. Why not me? Why not you?
Took a picture in the back.
Yeah. Just say it again. Say it again.
He is I.
Say it, Jeff.
No, I'm the owner. I'm the owner. No, we do this though. Who the pastor?
She
Is I,
said.
and I am him.
She said, "Can you put me up in a hotel?" He said, "We don't do that. We can pray for you though."
Now remember that lonely dog girl?
Yeah. They took her ass to Save a Lot.
Yep. He said, "We can get some lonely dog." Now we like stay. We can get some lonely.
I was standing right in this spot looking at my window when I first realized that I was raped. But I told my mom that during the time that I was with Elijah, I honestly did not want to accept that I was raped. I knew it in the back of my mind, but I didn't want to accept it. I didn't even know that sleeping with someone without telling them that you had STDs was sexual assault. The rape was so severe, but what a lot of people don't understand is it was always a new thing. Elijah always had a new STD that he was telling me about, or there was always a new drug that he was on. And so I was traumatized, yes, from my sexual assault, but it was always something new. He would always go lower each time when I was with him. And it was only for 6 months that we were together, but during those abusive 6 months, I didn't have time to process my rape because it was always a new STD. He was telling me, you got to go get tested for syphilis. I have chlamydia. I did coke when I raped you. I did all these things. And so I didn't know that I was a victim of sexual assault. It took me a long time. A lot of people don't understand that. People have to talk to me. I have to learn about the freeze response. I have to do all these things. But this is the phone. This is the phone that I filmed my first sex video with Elijah. This is the actual phone. My mom she bought this phone for me in 2022, 2 months before I met Elijah. I just wanted to be an adult entertainer. I had tried everything else. I made clothes, I made music, I did everything else. And I wanted to try to be an adult entertainer because there was big money in it. And so I said, fine, I want to do it. My mom bought me this phone. This is the same phone that I filmed me and Elijah's first sex video on to sell it. And he told me to take it down. He let me play the videos for him. And then he said, okay, you can post it. And when I posted it, he texted me and said, take it down. And so my mom has always supported me. Do you think that she wanted her son to be a porn star? I don't think so. But she knew, hey, my son's a good kid. He's 26. At the time I was 26. He doesn't do drugs. He's not out here having kids he can't take care of. So my mom actually paid for this phone. Right across at the Boost Mobile store, she bought me this iPhone. Okay, this is Beyonce. Beyonce is my screensaver. Beyonce is my inspiration. You know, I always say that Beyonce is my greatest inspiration, but my mom was my first inspiration ever. And so, you know, Elijah, he saw my light and he wanted to take my light. He saw my goodness, my kindness, and he used it. He knew I was lonely. He knew I didn't have no friends. And so he used those things to make me a doormat for him so that he could have access to me at any time. He would call me over at night to use me for sex because he knew that he could, because he knew that all I was reaching for was for someone to care for me and to love me and respect me. And he knew that I didn't have no friends. And he knew that I was a loner and that I was sad because I told Elijah when I first met him, I said, I want to know what it feels like to have all your dreams come true. And so the same person that showed me kindness at first ended up being my rapist, my abuser. And because of Elijah, because he was treating me so horrible, I suffered psychological damages because of him. But my mom, she was there with me before I told the world about what happened with me and Elijah. My mom was there. She was there the night that he had first did what he did, the day before Thanksgiving. She was there when he texted me about his drug abuse. She was there for all of that. I love my mama dearly. Shantae, Shantae.
That's my mom, that's my queen. That's my mom, that's my queen. Yeah, oh no, oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah. Black queen and she living her dream. Fit to claim but she is the same. Her magic, she got the unmask. Mind too sharp and she want it for friends. Sister, don't need a mister. Change her look just to mix it up. Work hard, yeah, she work real hard. Cold black woman, she a shining star. Mama, you didn't raise no fool.
You raised a king and a hero too. Yes, mama, gonna live your life. You are a queen and you're electrified. Yeah, Shantae, Shantae, Shantae. That's my mama's name. Okay, Shantae, Shantae, Shantae. That's my mama's name. Okay,
Black queen, she live in a dream. Fit to claim, but she is the same.
Kind her with the open arms, sexy style with a classy charm. Got her old man tripping in the worst ways. Blocked him on a Thursday. Me and her about to catch a flight. Got her hair done, sipping on her birthday. Cross her in the wrong way and she'll be ready to find. Mama, you didn't raise no fool. You raised a king and a hero too. Yes, mama, gonna live your life. You are a queen and you're electrified. Shantae, Shantae, Shantae. That's my mama's name. Okay, Shantae, Shantae, Shantae. That's my mama's name. Yeah, yeah. If you love your mama like I do, say yeah. If your mama's beautiful, then say oh yeah, oh yeah. If you love your mama like I do, say yeah, yeah, yeah. If your mama's beautiful, then say oh yeah, 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 yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Hey, babe, oh mama,
There you go.
Come on, come on. Everybody dying on this motherfucking album.
Okay, point it at me.
Oh Lord, it's dripping. I hate stupid stuff, bro.
Point it at me. I don't care if I get wet. I'll be alright. I'm grown. What? It won't let you shoot me. No, it will.
You know, sometime around the beginning of 2021 and towards the end of 2020, my first boyfriend that I ever had, we decided to split because I wasn't doing everything right and I didn't feel like he was doing everything right. And so he got with someone during our split, my first boyfriend. And this person was someone who he did not know was 31 at the time. My boyfriend was only 23. But he didn't know that he was with someone who preyed on people and who used the Jacked app and the Grindr app to lie about his age. I was only 24. My first boyfriend was 23. He moved in with this guy. And within about 2 weeks, the guy had took his credit cards, put him in a bag, started controlling what he was supposed to wear, following him everywhere, leeching onto his life. And then I found out that he was beating on him. I made a couple of calls to him and I said, is he putting his hands on you? And when I found out my answer, I decided to dedicate my time to getting him out of that house. I made calls, I sent emails, I talked to his mom, I talked to my mom, talked to my brother, and I figured out a plan how to get him out of that house. I was just 24 years old. And you see, what I did is I walked into his house and I said, you're getting out of there. You're getting out of that house. I grabbed him and I pulled him out. And I told him, I said, get in the car. His mom was there. His sister was there. I told him, I said, get in the car. I ran up into the guy's house and I said, where's his things? Now, I was only 24 years old. The guy was about 31 and I'm only 5'6" now. So he was taller than me, bigger than me. But I ran up in the attic. I looked at my boyfriend's face first. My boyfriend's face, he was bloody. His lip was busted and his eye was busted because this guy had
started beating on him. His mom was outside, and I ran in the house, and I said, he's leaving today. Where are his things? And the guy said his things are all in the hallway. I grabbed his TV, I grabbed everything, and I walked out. I looked at him, I told him, I said, you put your hands on someone's son. This is someone's child. This is someone's brother. And I got him out of that house. That guy had got my first boyfriend to send me pictures of them kissing together. They sent it to my text messages because I kept checking on my boyfriend. They did it to hurt me. And so when I ran in the house and I helped my boyfriend get out of that abusive relationship, my mom didn't understand why I had so much heart. But see, I've always protected members of the LGBT community. Always. I ran in the house and got him out of that abusive relationship because I had heard that he was going to take my ex to Blue Springs. And I told my ex's mom, I said, if he takes your son to Blue Springs, you're never getting your son back. Because people have a way of latching onto other people's lives and controlling them and destroying them. I got him out of that house and I put him in my home. I put him up in a hotel first, and he bled all over the pillow in the hotel. And I wiped his mouth up and tried to be everything that I could, but of course our relationship did not last. And then a year later, I met Elijah on a dating app. I think Elijah expected me to be like his other victims. You know, I don't think he expected me to talk. A lot of his other victims, they stayed quiet. What he had done to them, they kept it inside and they moved on because I think Elijah thought, why would they come forward? You see, Elijah knew, you know, he was smart. He knew that no matter what he did to someone, if they tried to retaliate or if they tried to move against him, all he would have to do is call the police on them and play the innocent college boy. If someone was to come to his apartment because they got an STD from him or because they felt like he was abusing them, if they came to his apartment for a retribution, all he would do is call the cops and play the innocent, young, adorable college kid who appeared to not be able to hurt a fly. And I don't think Elijah expected anybody to come forward because it's embarrassing to speak about what someone did to you. It's embarrassing to admit that someone outsmarted you or someone preyed on you. I took a test online, a sociopath test, to see if Elijah was a sociopath. And even though it was not a medical diagnosis, they told me online that he was, based on all of the questions that I answered. Every single question they asked me, he fit the description for. Someone who is incapable of giving a damn about anything that they do to anyone. Elijah thought I was going to be just like his other victims. Stay quiet and let the pain that he caused me die inside of me and then eventually try to pick up the pieces and move on. He had me cornered. He had me in his control. He had used a dating app to keep all of our information on something that he could delete. He knew he can block me and take all of the messages from me instantly. He had already done it so many times. He knew that he could send me a message on Snapchat and it would delete. But he didn't expect me to go to a sexual assault detective, one who told me that he might be able to find deleted old messages from Jack. And he definitely did not expect me to make a documentary about the heinous crimes and psychological abuse that he caused me. He expected me to be like all of his other victims and move on. See, I looked up what a sociopath was, and a sociopath is someone who comes off as charming. They do all the right things to catch you, to lure you. And then about a week or 2 weeks later, they switch and turn into a monster. They use love bombing to control you. They use psychological games to control you, to manipulate you, to get power, so that they can abuse you and use you and then discard you. But see, when Elijah raped me, he knew that he was successful in keeping me from going to the police when it happened. I had the right to still report my rape, and that is exactly what I did. I knew that I was the only one that could use my story to help put him behind bars or bring him to justice. Either one I was satisfied with, even if that was meeting him in the courtroom for the crimes he committed against my body. So yeah, before I met Elijah, I was already standing up for members of the LGBT community. He didn't expect me to go this far. But I told him, I'm not like all the other men that you have played with, that you have abused, that you have used. I told the sexual assault detective that I believe that I was with him so that I could help bring him to justice. I dedicated my own money and my own time to help put an end to the psychological abuse, the predatory behavior, the sexual trauma that Elijah caused.
in our LGBT community because he knew he could slip under the radar. He knew that nobody would suspect an innocent, cute, young college boy with an 8-year degree to be a monster. But that is what I found out that he was. And just like all the other monsters in the LGBT community that I had faced, I knew I had to take him down as well. So, that's what I did. If you look at the screen, you'll see a message from April 4th of 2023. That was the last day that me and Elijah had a conversation before the documentary was released. If you see what I'm saying, you'll understand that Elijah caused me to contemplate my life multiple times because of how sick he was during our abusive relationship. I want people to know, we did not have a lovey-dovey relationship. It was constant abuse, constant psychological torture. There'd be days where I didn't hear from him for weeks on end, and he would call me only to see if he could still use me and abuse me. And because I cared about him, and because I was concerned about his health, his sexual health, his sex addiction, his drug addiction, I gave him the best of me. Elijah ruined a lot of things for me, but I'm slowly getting those things back. He made me hate sex. He made me not like seeing people have sex. And as a person who's a porn star, he made me feel dirty when I would have sex. I need someone to teach me how to enjoy having sex again.
That gushy in between them legs, boy, stop playing with me. You know I got needs, I can't wait no more, boy, stop playing with me. You know I got needs, I can't wait no more, boy, Poppy. You know I love it when we lock in. When you in town, why don't you drop in? I'm going to work, I'm finna clock in. What's going on when you coming home? All you gotta do is say one word, and the draws is coming on. Boy, you know this your dick, Poppy. You know I love it when we lock in. When you in town, don't you drop in. I'm going to work, I'm finna clock in. He like, let me put it in, I'm like, wait. He like, let me put it in, I'm like, okay. He like, let me put it in, I'm like, wait a minute, let me go and get the loo first. Then he put the dick inside of me, fulfilling my fantasy. Sex with him is like a drug, can't believe that it feels so good to me, Poppy. You know I love it when we lock in. When you in town, why don't you drop in? I'm going to work, I'm finna clock in. He like, let me put it in, I'm like, wait. He like, let me put it in, I'm like, okay. He like, let me put it in, I'm like, wait a minute, let me go and get the loo first. Then he put the
I have an excellent memory. Always had one. Got it from my mom. And until you have been raped by somebody who you loved and who you trusted, don't fucking tell me how to tell my story. This is what I said. I said if I had any idea he was a monster, I would have ran for my fucking life. All my life, all I did was help people, let people walk all over me, give everything I had for anyone. Once he raped me, he showed me that humanity might be just as evil as I used to believe it was. He was my big baby, and I made excuses for him constantly. I begged and begged him to quit doing drugs just for me to look like a damn fool when I found out after therapy that he raped me not because of the drugs, but because he just wanted control over my body. And I will never forgive Elijah Rashad Thomas as long as I live. Now, I'm sure that Elijah's mama is getting tired of me talking about her precious baby. And do you know what I would say to her? However she feel about me, she can write it down on a piece of paper and then she can shove it up her ass. Your son raped me. I ain't never gonna fucking let it go. Do you know what I should have did that night after I told him to stop several times? Do you know what I should have did after he looked me in my eyes and told me, we'll get water once we're done? Do you know what I should have did? See, Elijah had a lot of things on his table. There was a table right next to his bed. There was a little heater, and then there was a table. He had a keychain. He had some keys on his desk. And he had a keychain that said, I love Atlanta, which should have gave me a hint about him. And he had a little candle, a twin flame candle that he would light sometimes. And he had a bunch of other things. While he was raping me, while he was on top of me, forcing himself on me, I should have grabbed something sharp and I should have cut his throat because I told him to get off of me. But instead I laid there and I took it just like I took the pain and the anguish and the torture from the church. I laid there and I took it like a dirty dog because I froze up and I didn't understand that somebody who had books about getting closer to God could do that to me, someone who was kind to them. I found out month after staying with him that he was an evil predator. You see, Elijah grew up poor and he wanted to go stay with his auntie. He wanted to go to community college. How do I know this? Because he laid next to me in bed and told me this. But see, Elijah met somebody he fell in love with. Elijah's ex before me, his serious ex, was a filmmaker. That's what he told me. He was a filmmaker. Just like I was a filmmaker. Of course, Elijah, knew that because I told him I did music videos, but that didn't really matter. I didn't really matter to him at all. But just like his boyfriend, he told me that his boyfriend talked too much. Well, I talk too much. You know what Elijah told me? He told me that his boyfriend would hardly touch him. He told me that the sex was bad between them. We were in the car one day, and Elijah said, he'd rather masturbate than sleep with me. I got this big round booty. Why don't he want it? I wanted it. You see, sometimes life will give us a second chance. And you know what we do with that second chance? We spit in the face of that second chance. But as you all have known before in my documentary, to prove that he was a sex addict, I had to tell stories to prove my cases. I couldn't just say things. I had to have evidence. You all know that Elijah cheated on his ex 3 times by doing the same thing he did to me, controlling all the power by lying and using dating apps and by taking off his location so that he can have his fix. Elijah told me that they were supposed to get married. And so Elijah disclosed with me that his boyfriend one day, while he was putting him to bed to lay down on the couch in front of his sister and her girlfriend, that his boyfriend jumped up and hit him in the face. And do you know what he told me? Elijah told me, I've never been the same since then. So do you know what he did? He took it out on all of us because he couldn't have him no more. Because he didn't want him no more, he took it out on us, people like me, good people like me that just wanted to care and be there for him. We had to suffer because he couldn't have him no more. But you know what? I don't think that his boyfriend created the monster that he is. You see, Elijah not one time mentioned his mom. He talked about his auntie all the time. He talked about his sister, Princess. But he not once mentioned his mother. The only time that I heard about Elijah's mom is when he went to Alabama for Thanksgiving. And he had his mom on his Snapchat.
And I said, "Are you eating good?" And he said, "Oh, well, mom's gonna cook." That's the only time. Because he told me, he said, "My auntie don't cook, but mom cooks." But he never talked about his mom. He never ever talked about her. Was it the lack of affection that he got that made him the monster he was? Or did he just want to be that way? It was easy to be rude and deceitful to get what he wanted, and manipulative to get what he wanted, to take what he wanted. But there's one thing that I would say. The reason why I dropped that documentary is not because I wanted to spend another 6 months reliving my trauma. It was to let you all know that, in my opinion, and this is an opinion, not a fact, Elijah is always gonna be the sex addict that I knew. He can't help it. Just like a fly to shit, he gotta have sex. He gotta have it all the time, because that is who he is, and that is what he is, and that is what he was, even if he gotta take it by force, and that is what he did. When I was just 19 years old, I found out that my favorite soul food restaurant, Danny's Big Easy, had got busted for smuggling and selling cocaine on the historic 18th and Vine district. And when I was 20, I discovered that my first boyfriend's stepfather, a minister, was spending his money to purchase cocaine, which helped to ruin his marriage. I've got to take this new medication. And then at 26, I was raped by my own boyfriend who was on cocaine. Drugs have plagued our communities for so long. They have plagued our Black community, our LGBT community, and all I wanted to do was put an end to it, an end to the madness. This is the Puma jacket that I had on when I got into Elijah's car, when I first got into his car. I left this apartment that I'm in right now, and he pulled right next door to the police station, and I got in to his car. I just wanted to collab with someone so that I can make money to feed myself. But you all know what happened after that. I was abused by him, psychologically tortured and tormented and devalued and degraded by him for 6 months. But what we all also know is that, yes, he raped me. Life is full of surprises. In the event that if the bad ones have such a strong effect on us, so do the good ones. What I did was I took a stand not only against him, but I took a stand against the spreading of STDs, the spreading of drugs in our community. Because one thing about me is I just always wanted to make a change. But I had to realize that change, it starts within. You got to change something inside of you. And something fell off the shelf inside of me in April when I talked to those two young boys about Elijah. He knew that nobody could stop him. He knew that nobody could stand against him. Who was going to stop him? The only person that could do it was the boy that knew him better than any of his other victims, because I was the boy that cared. I wasn't just the boy in St. Regis. He was the boy in St. Regis too. And when I made that documentary, I knew in my heart that everything I said was true, and that if no one believed me, Elijah believed me. And I can go to bed at night knowing that he believed me because he was there when it all happened. The truth is the truth. One of the saddest things is that everything in the documentary I said was true. It had to happen to me because I was the only one that was brave enough to come forward against him. So I've sort of made peace with it. One thing that nobody knows is, I've always been a brave person, but I was actually really scared right before it was time to drop the documentary. Right at the beginning stages of making the documentary, I was having like a pullback. Am I really gonna do this? I'm so scared to do this. I'm so scared to tell my story. I was really, really scared to tell my story. And so I find messages from everywhere. And I remember at the beginning stages of the documentary, I mean at the very beginning, I had ordered some Chinese takeout Got me some chicken fried rice and crab rangoon. I always like to open my fortune cookies and get a message. And this was at the beginning stages of dropping the documentary. And when I opened my fortune cookie, it said, keep on charging the enemy so long as there is life. And I took it as a sign that I was in the right direction, a sign from Spirit that I was meant to do this. And so I did just that. Hi, Jay Birds. You already know I had to sing a song for you. This is for people who have had a really bad breakup. Just know that you are not alone. Elijah, he caused me psychological damages, psychological trauma. And because of that, my insurance had to pay over $3,000 so I could have 6 months of therapy because of him. In one of our sessions, my therapist actually told me that I might want to consider, because Elijah had slept with so many men in my city, she told me that I might want to consider actually moving out of my own city. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine someone telling you that? And I told her no. I said, he's not moving me out of my own city. I was born here. And I told her, I said, he slept with many men in many cities. He told me he had friends in Chicago. He told me he had friends in St. Louis. He traveled all around. He was always on the dating app, even when he was out of town. That's what he did. So I don't know where I could go where he hasn't been there, or who he hasn't slept with. I don't know. I'm not leaving my city. This is my city. I told her, I ain't going nowhere. I'm a king. And I've decided that Kansas City is my resting place, is my home. And although I want to see the world, and although I will see the world, it's the place where I want to raise my family. I like the sound of that.
So I know I look a mess, but I just got out of the bathtub. And I checked my Twitter, and this guy sent me a message, and he said he didn't rape me, but he slept with me without telling me that he had HIV. Even though it's undetectable, he still should have told me before we slept together. So I guess this is my first time finding out that Elijah has HIV, because I didn't know that he had it. When I met him, like I said, he had a lot of diseases, but he kept telling me he didn't have HIV. He just said, I've had everything. But I knew people would come to me. I knew people would reach out to me about him and tell me what he did to them. I opened up space for people to do it. But today, it really hits a little different for today, because nobody has ever once told me that he has HIV. I just found that out today. But of course, they're telling me that he didn't tell them either before he slept with them. Like, how cruel can you be, bro? How sick in the head are you? That you sleep with another person without telling them your status, bro. You don't care. He don't care about nobody else's life but him, bro. He don't care about nobody. And these people, they come to me because they know I care. Unlike him, they know I actually give a fuck, because he don't give a fuck about nobody. He don't give a fuck about none of y'all. This is what I prosecuted him This is why I went to the detective. This is why I built a case against him. Because he gotta be stopped, bro. He gotta be stopped. And I feel like I'm the only one that can do it. Because I'm the only one that really want to come forward. Everybody else keeps coming to me. Nobody wants to come forward about what he did to them. Everybody wants to just keep coming to me about it because I'm the only one that says something. Because I spent my own money to make a documentary about the horrible things that he did to multiple members of the LGBT community. So I asked him, I said, when did you know that he had HIV? And he tells me, oh, he's had it since he moved into that apartment. And he had it in Lawrence, Kansas. So basically, before he met me, he had HIV. And today is the first day that I'm finding out about it. When I tell y'all, Elijah looked me in my face 3 times and told me, I don't have it. I don't have HIV, and slept with me. In the documentary, I mentioned that Elijah pressured me to sleep with him without a condom. He thought to tell other people that he had it, but he didn't tell me, right? That means the entire time he was at that apartment in St. Regis, he had HIV and did not tell me. I don't have nothing against people with HIV. I don't have no hard feelings. But this boy slept with me without telling me that he had HIV, and he lied to me. Elijah told me after he raped me, when he got syphilis, he told me, well, I don't have HIV. My doctor told me I don't have it. Fucking liar, bro.
Jay Hunter, nigga. Who the fuck else you thought it was gonna be? I'm the Supreme. It's a cold red, hot your boyfriends. He'll fuck you and your son and your old man. He don't care about no man. He don't care about no man. He'll fuck you and leave you burning. He'll fuck you and leave you burning. He'll fuck you and leave you burning, Lord. I was on jacked all night. I was on jacked all night. I wasn't looking for no ass this time. I was taking my chance to put that nigga in the spotlight. He'll leave you broken hearted. He'll leave you feeling sick. And by the time you realize it, he's riding someone else's dick. He wants to cruise. 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 With you. He wants to cruise. Cruise. With you. Lord. He wants to cruise. 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 With you. He wants to cruise. Cruise. With you. Lord. That nigga told me have a spine, so I took his. I can't believe Elijah raped me in his pig pen. I'm the king, the supreme, I'm from KC, nigga, where the artists live. I found his new profile, he thought I didn't see. I had to pop up on there like, hey nigga, remember me? He wants to cruise, cruise, cruise with you. He wants to cruise, cruise with you, Lord. He wants to cruise, cruise, cruise with you. He wants to cruise, cruise with you, Lord. He wants to cruise, 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 cruise with you, Lord. Cruise, 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 cruise. He wants to cruise. And tell the nigga I ain't sorry. I bet that nigga still salty. He probably got crabs and calamari. I took the crown off his head like Steve Harvey. Maybe in a few years you can find me, and we can have a knife fight if you remind me. Cause if you wanna take your anger out on me, I give you my address in my room, can you punk ass nigga?
Elijah was hoping that his victims stay quiet. Actually, he was counting on it. After I dropped my documentary, I hung his face up above mine on my Twitter for 6 months in a pinned tweet, hoping that anybody who he had hurt or infected would see that someone was actively prosecuting him and would come forward to me. I opened my DMs for people to tell me their side of the story. And for 2 months after I dropped my documentary, nobody said anything. And I felt so alone. I knew I still had a really good case against Elijah. I mean, I had so much evidence that I laid out in front of my lawyer, in front of the detective about Elijah. So I knew I had a strong case, but I was waiting on his victims to come forward. Elijah slept with a high amount of people, not just in Kansas City, but in other cities as well. And I was waiting on them to finally come forward. But somebody finally came forward. I just got out of the tub and I was trying to go on about my day, and this brave soul came forward. He saw my story and he decided to send me messages on my Twitter. And I'm gonna share those messages with you. The messages that I'm gonna share on the screen, I've already sent to my sexual assault detective. I do not mind sharing these. I'm gonna read them out loud. There are typos, nobody's perfect. So he did send some typos, but what he sent me was enough to help me not to feel so alone. Let's read it together. On Monday, December 11th, he said he didn't rape me, and he meant to say rape. I want everybody to know that. It was a typo. He said he didn't rape me, but he didn't disclose that he was HIV positive before we had sex without protection. Whether he's undetectable or not, it should be a conversation beforehand. I accepted the request, and I said, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Are you talking about Elijah, right? And he said, yes. I said, oh my God, this is my first time finding out that he had HIV. I am building a case against him. My hope is to prosecute him. This is my first time finding out he has HIV. How did you find out that he had it if he didn't tell you? I'm just curious. He responded and said he talked to one of my friends and he actually told them and he was undetectable. I responded, he could have infected you. He slept with me without telling me he had multiple STDs. Now, I said that because Elijah had multiple STDs. I'm not just talking about him being HIV undetectable. Elijah had a lot of diseases. It wasn't just HIV. He slept with me knowing he had multiple diseases. I said in the documentary that he slept with me knowing that he had the coronavirus. He slept with me knowing he had syphilis, chlamydia. So when I say he could have been infected, I wasn't just talking about the HIV because I know that he said that it was undetectable. But let's continue to read. I would like to meet you if I can, if possible. Only if you would like to, maybe at a coffee shop. Also, did this happen recently? And please know that you don't have to answer any of my questions if you don't want to. He responded and said, no, it was when he first moved into his place here. I blocked him on everything. Oh my God, you mean since he moved to St. Regis he has had HIV? Oh my God, are you serious? Yes, that's what I was told. He even had it in Lawrence. Now, when he says Lawrence, he's talking about when Elijah stayed on his dorm. As I said in my documentary, The Boy in St. Regis, Elijah told me that he hated staying at his dorm and he could not wait to get an apartment. Once Elijah got to St. Regis, that's when he met me. And during that time, Elijah lied to me and told me that he did not have HIV. We slept together about 3 or 4 times without using protection during our 6-month abusive relationship. But he lied to me and told me that he did not have HIV. Let's continue to read. Yeah, I said he lied to me all that time. And he said, yeah, well, I hope you have been tested since then. I did, and I'm on PrEP now. I said, oh, I don't have it, but Elijah and I were in a relationship while he was preying on men in KCMO, but he could have gave it to me countless times. Can I please meet you to talk with you? I recently injured my arm, but I'm feeling better, and I honestly would love to ask you some questions. You could really help my case. You could help my case. The only reason why I came forward about my rape is because I knew he was doing this to so many men. Somebody had to stop him, but everybody was too scared to. He responded and said, honestly, I'm just glad I didn't catch it, and I don't want to get too involved in something too crazy. Elijah knew that. He knew that none of his victims wanted to get involved. He knew that. He was hoping that everybody stayed back and let me look crazy. Elijah was hoping that all the people who he hurt and infected or lied to or used, he was hoping that they all stayed silent so that I could be the only one saying that he did these horrible things. But this brave soul decided to come forward. Let's continue to read. I said, man, I'm just glad you're willing to meet. For months now, I have felt alone in this case. We can keep it as simple as possible. I fully understand why you wouldn't want to get involved. Honestly, if you'd rather speak on the phone than meet me in person, let me know. He said to me, yes, I can meet you somewhere downtown. In a couple hours, I'm finna go to the gym. I said, okay, I don't live too far from downtown. I don't drive, but if I knew sooner, I would have met you at the downtown library. I don't live too far out of downtown. If you'd like to pull up to my place, I could talk with you in private, in your car. I live on the Linwood side in an apartment. We could chop it up for a minute. I live on Linwood and Truce. I would love to chat with you today because tomorrow I have to go back to the hospital to look at my arm. He never responded ever again. He was too scared to. He did not want to get involved. None of Elijah's victims wanted to get involved. They all wanted to sit back and watch me take this case head on alone.
Whether you're a male or a female, and no matter who you have sex with, if you have a sexual disease and you know it's contagious, you have to tell your partner ahead of time. Even if they do not contract the disease from your interaction, it's still a crime. Not telling about HIV is a felony, and not telling about all of the other sexual diseases is a misdemeanor.
I remember I had to explain to the sexual assault detective. He asked me, he said, tell me all the proof you have that Elijah is a sex addict. And I had to go down the list and just name every single thing that I knew. I had to mention, there were several occasions where I would come see Elijah and there would be stains on the bed from the men that he slept with. And that wasn't the only time. There were multiple times where I would come over and there was stains on the bed from the men that would sleep with him. I had to tell the detective that I saw poppers. I saw all kind of things, just like, you know, I remember I was supposed to cook for him. He was coming back from St. Louis. He had visited a Holocaust museum. He loved museums just like me, which is crazy why he never wanted to take me to one, but he had went to a Holocaust museum and I had saw it on his Snap and I texted him, I said, I'm supposed to be cooking fish for you, don't forget. As we had kind of planned that I was gonna do this for him. I had already bought the fish and everything. And when he came back, he said, I'll let you know if you can still come over. I said, okay. and I hadn't seen him in a while. And so I remember as soon as he got back, he said, I'm sorry, Jay, but I just need this. And I didn't know what he meant. And as soon as he said that, his light turned green on Jacked, which was an indication that he was about to have sex with somebody else. And so I saw it and I said, okay. And he said, are you mad at me? And I tried so hard not to show him my angry side. I tried to be nothing but gentle and kind the entire time that he was abusing me. I just tried to keep showing him kindness. And I said, no, I'm not mad. And he said, I'm sorry, I just need this. He was talking about sex. And so, his light just turned green and he met up with whoever that day. And that happened all the time. He did that to me all the time.
Hey, it is so cold, but I have to get out at night. I have to get out. It helps with my depression, getting out and listening to my music and taking long walks. I love taking long walks. And as you can see right there at the Nelson over there, that is where I shot my Cleopatra video. And I just remember it being so hot. And that will always be, I guess, a lot of people's favorite songs. It's one of my top songs on Apple Music, so people have been listening to it apparently. All I just needed was a friend. All I just needed was somebody to love me, be there for me, and care for me. And when I first met Elijah, I said, where have you been all my life? You know, you're so cute, you're smart. And the entire time, all he saw me as was a sex object to be used and abused. And it hurt me when I found out about his status, because me and Elijah, we used to sleep so close together that we would breathe in each other's mouths. That's how close we would sleep together. And the fact that he lied to me when he knew, he knew, you know, that I was a good person, that I was kind-hearted. And so I had to suffer the most out of all of his other victims. But tonight is my final night that I will be sending out my warnings on Jacked about him. I told my lawyer, I said, I think I want to try to get on Jacked and see if I can find anybody that he preyed on. And she said, well, that's a good idea. That sounds like a good idea. So tonight is the last night that I'm doing it, to see if anybody wants to come forward. If you want to say anything that he did to you, if he infected you, if he emotionally hurt you, abused you, I'm spending this time to talk to his victims to see if they would like to come forward.
So that night was supposed to be the last night that I was trying to look for victims. I told my lawyer, like I said, I was gonna get on the Jacked app, Grindr app, and try to see if I can find anybody who my ex-boyfriend had hurt in any way. Initially, when I did my first warnings, I was just trying to warn people about him. I had kind of given up on finding any more of his victims. I just thought that everybody wanted to stay quiet. I was willing to take on the entire case by myself. I was honestly just looking for people that Elijah had infected. I thought to myself, you know, what are the chances of me finding somebody else that, you know, that he did the same thing that he did to me, that he did to someone else? The first night, it wasn't really a success. Nobody really wanted to talk. But the second night, people started to DM me. The first guy, his name on Jacked was, I think it was Big Dick Boy. We talked and he told me that Elijah would beg him for weed, or that he would beg him for money for weed. Elijah had a chronic drug addiction. Like I said, when I met him, he was addicted to cocaine and meth. He raped me when he was on cocaine. Okay, so he said he didn't know much. This guy did not know much, but he felt sorry for me. I told him Elijah had raped me, but he said that he had slept with him in St. Regis at the plaza, you know, Like I said, Elijah had a high number of sex partners, a high number of sex partners. So the guy tried to act like he didn't know who Elijah was at first, but eventually he came clean and said, yeah, I know. And I told him, I said, I know you know him. Yeah, you got to know him because Elijah slept with everybody. That's what he did. That's what a predator and a sex addict does. Well, he told me he knew about Elijah's weed addiction and that Elijah would beg him for money or beg him for weed. Well, me and him, we really didn't talk much. There was not really much that he can tell me. After that, it started to kind of take a turn. Somebody else messaged me. This guy was about 42. And like I said, Elijah liked to prey on young people, but he also liked to sleep with older men as well. Anybody, but he preferred younger men because they were more naive, easy to manipulate and use and abuse. Well, this 42-year-old, he sent me a message that kind of helped my case when I mentioned that Elijah would sometimes threaten people when they would not sleep with him. He identified him. He said, is that Elijah Thomas? I said, yes, that is Elijah Thomas. I'm taking witness statements. I'm gathering evidence. I'm building a case against him to prosecute him in the court of law. There's something important that I want people to see. This man mentions that he felt uncomfortable and that he did not want to meet with Elijah because Elijah was acting kind of strange, kind of weird. I said, well, what do you mean weird? What do you mean by strange? Why you're a 42-year-old male. This guy is 27, 26. Why don't you want to meet with him? And he said, Elijah was demanding to meet with me. And I told him, I said, that's what Elijah did. He's a sex addict. He does not like to take no for an answer. That is why he raped me. That is why he did what he did to countless others, because if Elijah wants sex from you and you turn him down, he will try anything he can to get you to have sex with him. If he has to coerce you, manipulate you, deceive you in any way, threaten you, he will do that. Well, this guy didn't meet with him because he said Elijah was demanding to see him. When Elijah wants sex, he wants it immediately, and he gets on the Jack app expecting everybody to be loose and easy like him, ready to just have sex. And everybody on the Jack app is not immediately ready to just hook up with strangers like Elijah. I had ordered me something to eat. I ordered me some DoorDash, and I ate. And I just sat there thinking, I don't have any luck. People are not really coming forward. Everybody's kind of barely, scratching the surface on this predator who was my ex-boyfriend, until a young man by the name of Mitchell texted me on the Jack app and told me I slept with him and we had a threesome and he gave me syphilis and chlamydia.
Right. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for even being willing to speak to me. There's a lot that I want to say to you, because first of all, you are completely innocent. You have been preyed upon by a very smart, intelligent sex addict who used Jack to prey on many young men like you, many beautiful young men like you. You got infected by him, right? Yeah. Okay, and that's okay. And I'm not here to judge or anything, because I understand that. Did you contract syphilis or chlamydia from Elijah?
I did.
Are you saying both of them?
Yeah.
Okay, what Elijah did was he slept with you without telling you that he already had syphilis and chlamydia, okay? And that is sexual assault, okay?
Right.
That is sexual assault. It's sexual assault because he knew he had those diseases. He knew that he could infect you with those diseases. And he did not tell you that he had those diseases because he is a sex addict. He does not care about anybody but himself. So he knew when he slept with you, he knew that he was infecting you with chlamydia and syphilis.
Testing one. Testing. I see you got that focus. Of course, I want to focus on you. Name?
Mitchell.
Okay. What's your last name?
Strong.
All right. Explain both of the times that you were raped, and I'm gonna take it slow with you. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So we're gonna start with, in September, you said that a friend had invited you to come over to St. Regis Apartments to have a threesome with Elijah, right?
Right.
And it seemed cool. It seemed consensual, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's fine. And during that threesome, Elijah was the bottom and you and your friend were the top, right?
Right.
Is this the night that you believe that Elijah infected you with syphilis and chlamydia?
Yes.
Okay. Did he tell you that he had HIV when you slept with him?
No.
Did he tell you that he had syphilis and chlamydia?
No.
Okay. So, first of all, thank you for being brave enough to talk about your rape. You were raped twice by him.
I was.
You were not in a relationship with him, right?
Correct.
I want you to know something. A lot of people that get raped, it takes a long time, especially men, to understand how serious rape was. So for people out there that are asking, why was he raped twice? We're going to make it clear that the first time you were raped, you didn't understand that it was rape, right?
Correct.
All right. So we're going to talk about both of those. And once again, I want to say, as you being a young man, I commend you for being strong enough and brave enough to talk about your rape and your sexual assault. And I want you to take your time, okay?
All right.
So September of 2023 in St. Regis, that's when the first rape happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, take me through that. So this is when you guys were in the living room, right?
Right.
Okay, it's on you.
So, he calls me over and I come in, chill, I come in, plug my stuff up, charge. And I sit down, start watching TV, and all of a sudden, Elijah come in and he starts touching me unconsented.
Right.
Not telling me that, when he first hit me up that he wanted to have, intercourse or anything.
Yeah, he just told you,
he
let's
just
come
told
chill.
me, let's hey, let's come chill, watch movies, smoke, those type of things. Friends, stuff that friends would do.
Right.
And so with Elijah, when he came in, I was minding my business, playing games on my phone, watching TV, listening to music, and Elijah come in and start touching me, and as I tell him no, he started rubbing on my chest, started rubbing on my genitals, and it was just like he did not understand the word no. And I kept telling Elijah, no, Elijah, no, Elijah, no, Elijah, no, right. Elijah, stop, Elijah, get away, Elijah, stop. This is not what you called me over here for.
Right.
I need you to really think about what you're doing right now, because what you're doing right now is I need you don't understand the word no.
No, yeah. And you were just looking for a friendship at that time, not a relationship. You just came over there to hang out with him.
Right.
And so you said that he wrestled you to the floor, right?
Correct.
Now, a lot of people don't know that Mitchell is actually a victim of a hate crime. Mitchell was shot multiple times in 2019 because of his sexuality. And one of those gunshots got into your elbow, right? So Mitchell struggles to move his elbow, okay? As you can see the scar right there. So when Elijah wrestled Mitchell to the floor, you said, Mitchell, that you struggled to fight back, right?
Correct.
Okay, a lot of people say when you get raped, as you can see there's another gunshot. So Mitchell, he's a strong boy, but it's hard for him to fight back because he can barely bend his right elbow, his right arm. He can barely bend it. So Elijah, even though he was your bottom, he overpowered you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, this is in September. You said that Elijah, you guys had been having sex before this, kind of off and on, right?
Right.
Okay. Well, this time he didn't want to take no for an answer, and he wrestled you to the ground.
Right.
Okay. You can take over from there when he wrestled you to the ground.
So, as I'm sitting and I minding my own business, literally sitting there minding my own business, Elijah comes and he as I'm pushing him, Elijah away, moving Elijah's hand, pushing Elijah's hand away, he literally comes and he grabs me, bear hugs me from behind, to where he's forcing my right arm to bend.
Okay.
And he tackles me to the ground, Elijah won't let go.
Right.
And at this point, he is just yo, I'm finna, you finna give me dick, you finna give me what I want.
Yeah.
And he pulled my pants down and forcefully stuck my genital inside of him and choked me. And
it's okay. It's all right.
I don't potentially understand why people don't.
It's all right. It's all right. You said you try to tell him to stop choking you, right? So in the past, Elijah would like to be choked by you, or he would like to choke you during sex, right?
Yeah.
So you guys had a safe word, which was red, right?
Yeah.
Now, when you try to use that safe word, you said he choked you harder, he wouldn't stop?
He choked me harder to the point to where I couldn't get my hand underneath his hand to loosen his grip. Okay. And like the boy was trying to kill me. Like, what is the point of you doing what you're doing? You don't understand what you're doing, right. And neither do I.
Yeah. Yeah.
You literally called me up here to chill, not to do all of this stuff.
Right. And because you didn't want to have sex with him, he got upset and forced you to have sex.
Yes.
Okay. He grabbed your dick, put it inside of his ass, and had sex with you while choking you.
Yeah.
And did you mention that you were? I know before we started recording, you were screaming for help.
I was definitely screaming for help, and nobody came to the door. Nobody understands how hard it is to hear or to see somebody, or to hear yourself screaming for help.
Right.
To hear yourself scream, "Get off of me, leave me alone, get away from me."
Right.
And nobody comes to see what is going on. Nobody comes to knock on the door. Nobody comes and breaks that door down to see what is going on inside of that apartment.
And so, one thing that I want people to understand is it's hard for men to understand that they are being raped, because men don't want to understand, first of all, that another man can take advantage of them. It makes us feel weak. It makes us feel scared. Elijah, he raped me, and it took me damn near 6 months to realize how severe it was. So in October, he invites you over again, right?
Yeah.
After Elijah had sex with you that first time when he raped you, did he try to make it seem like everything was cool? Did he try to brush it off?
He did. He definitely did. He definitely was like, hey, what you doing? How you doing? Again, want to come over and chill, smoke, play the video game, watch TV, listen to music. Sure.
When he raped you on the floor, because I'm sure that you eventually ejaculated, once you were finished, how was he when he got up? Did he help you up? Did he seem sorry about what he did?
No, he definitely he got up and looked at me, smiled and rolled his eyes and walked away. And
oh my God,
that was you definitely don't understand where you finna put yourself into. Because if this was a black parent, a black parent at that.
Right. Did you feel like you wanted to attack him?
I did. I definitely feel like I wanted to attack him. And
okay, so you go home.
This part, I didn't attack him right there.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
But going down the line, you don't understand how a child is affected at the age, at such a young age, even at a young adult age, from the age of 23 on down. I don't want no child, no grown adult, no young adult to go through this. This is not something that you should be going through at this time in your life.
Okay, so let me ask you. So after he raped you, he looked at you, smiled, and just walked away.
Rolled his eyes, smiled, and walked away.
Because he was happy that he had successfully did it.
Yeah.
He was your ride home, right? Because you don't have a car.
Right.
Okay, when Elijah raped me, I didn't have a car either, so he was supposed to call my Uber. Elijah called your Uber eventually, right?
Uh-huh.
So you go home, and of course, you don't want to admit to yourself that you were raped. It's embarrassing. Time passes. But what people don't understand is when you have a connection with somebody on a sexual level, sometimes it's hard to understand that what they did to you makes them a rapist. Mm-hmm. So you did go back over to Elijah's home, right?
I did.
And I want you to know something. No matter what people say about you, no matter how people feel about you, you have the right to tell your story, because if you think you're the only one who has been raped multiple times by the same person, you're wrong. Because there are so many women and so many men that have been raped multiple times by a friend, by a parent, by a husband, you don't blame people if they were raped by the same person twice. When you came over to see Elijah in October, this is when the second rape happened, right?
Yes.
Did Elijah try to manipulate you into coming over by asking for just let's just hang out this time?
He did just like he did the first time. Okay. And the second time, the first time I didn't, you know, I just thought it was, you know, like friend shit, like you know what friends will normally do.
Okay.
And every time it ended in sex, I was like, Elijah, this is not what I come over here for.
Right.
And he was like, oh, well, I'm sorry, you know, you can sit, you know, you can chill, you know, we can smoke, you know, watch a movie or whatever. Okay, cool, let's sit, chill, watch a movie. This is what you originally called me over here for.
Because what you're looking for is friendship.
Right.
He's a cool guy. He got the smoke. He got a nice place. You currently, you stay with family, right? So you're looking for an escape. You're just looking to go hang out with a guy close to your age. Elijah was 27 at the time. You're 21 when this happened. So you come over again in October because you weren't ready to admit that you were raped, right?
Right.
And let me tell you why. For the people that don't understand, when I came forward that Elijah raped me, nobody understand that Elijah raped me because Elijah was my bottom. So if it took me 6 months to understand that my rape was severe because he was my bottom, you can understand that Mitchell was in my same position. Mitchell is a top, and Elijah inserted his penis into him. And so Mitchell did not want to accept that he was raped. And so when you came over in October, this is when he threatened you. Now, I told people in my documentary that Elijah would threaten people when they would not sleep with him. So you say that Elijah starts touching on you. You told him, Elijah, I just came over here for friendship. I just came over here to have a good time with you. I don't want to have sex. You said that Elijah starts touching on you, and then he takes your phone. Tell me about that.
As I'm over there, he's steady wanting to, you know, touch me and have sex with me. And Elijah, I told Elijah, I said, Elijah, this is not it. She strictly come out here to chill, talk.
And this is in October.
Right, this is strictly in October. And Elijah's not accepting the fact that he cannot have me. I don't want to have sex with him.
Right.
And God. So as I'm telling Elijah, he was like, well, you can go home. I was like, well, you got me here, you gonna get me home.
Right. Get me back home.
Get me back home. You brought me here to here, you gonna get me back home.
Right.
And so he was like, matter of fact, you're not going nowhere. He was like, bitch, you're not going nowhere. So he took my stuff, took my phone, hid it. I don't know where he hid it at.
Okay.
But like Elijah, like literally like bum rushed me, and I was like, Elijah, like this is not what you want to do.
And then he told you, I know we talked last night, he said, you're not leaving here until we have sex.
Right, you're not leaving my presence, my apartment until we have sex.
That's what he said.
And I was like, Elijah, like I'm going home. You're gonna get me home.
He started yelling like that in his apartment?
And in his apartment, like his voice escalated so much that my voice literally had to escalate.
And so
all the way.
He knew that you didn't want to leave without your phone. And so what he did is he started touching you. So after he hit your phone, he started touching you.
Right. He started touching me, and I started pushing him away. Pushing him away.
And that's when he hit you.
And that's when he hit me. And I swung back and I hit him. That's when we started fighting.
Okay.
And part of the fight was when he still is trying to keep he's trying to make my right arm bend like it. And
so he knew? Did he know about your arm?
He knew about me being shot and all of that. And he forcefully like grabbed my arm and was like pushing it, and like he literally, and when he did it, he leaned in and was like just leaning in on my arm.
I'm so sorry.
And I was like, and I dealt with the pain afterwards, because I was like, Elijah, like you don't know what I want to do to you right now, and the fact that you is sitting here like physically harming me after I'm already hurt.
Right.
Elijah, I will kill you. Do you not understand that?
And so he started ripping your clothes.
He started ripping my clothes off. Like he yanked my shirt, yanked my pants, all of that.
Yeah.
And like the one thing I didn't tell you was that like Elijah spit in my face.
What?
And at that point it was over. It was over for Elijah, because one thing you don't do to anybody, and this is for anybody out in this world that's going to see this video, you don't spit in nobody's face. Not even, especially African American person.
He knew he was raping you. He knew he had already injured your arm, and then he spit in your face. For what? Just to demean you even more.
Just to demean and like try to terrorize and try to diminish what I have going for myself. And just because Elijah graduated doesn't mean that Elijah's using his degrees
because he thought he was
better.
Yeah,
he thought he was better. And let me tell you something. the word says trust no man suddenly. And it also says be aware of angels that you entertain.
Okay.
So Elijah was one of those angels that I did not understand that I was entertaining evil.
Yeah,
so when I really found out that I was entertaining...
Do you believe that Elijah is evil?
I do believe Elijah is evil. Because at this point, like, dude...
I mean, this man is ripping off your clothes. He knew that your arm was injured, so he's
spitting in people's faces,
And when does he insert your penis into his ass? When does he into his butt?
And so at this point, like... Now, mind y'all, this is the second time.
Yeah, that he's raped you.
I'm passed out.
Passed out? Why?
Like I'm blacked out. Like
because
I don't know. Like I don't know anything.
What's going on?
Your
arm is hurting.
I'm sitting there like
and he's putting your penis inside of him.
Yes. Now that's when I woke up and I like at this point like his hand is like around my neck. This is the second time because he choked me twice. Yeah. The second time like your hand is around my neck so damn tight I can't even do anything. Like you like as I'm trying to get you off of me, you're not letting go. And then the fact that the second time again, you spit in my face. Why are you choking me?
Right.
We not gonna do that. So yes, I bounced him up and I kicked him.
Right. Okay.
And we physically got into that second altercation.
Yeah.
Because now you're violently, like, you're violently hurting me. So therefore, I'm gonna protect myself. And now this is a little something about me, y'all. I work with kids.
Right.
I work in a general healthcare resource facility that works with kids with autism. My job is in healthcare and was working with students. My job in healthcare, if my job found out that I had any type of disease,
right.
my job would cut me off. My job would be like, okay, we have to let you go.
They probably discriminate against you because you're gay. They'll probably say, oh, well, you know how gay people are. They have all those diseases.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the fact that I'm working with kids is really going to hurt me because them were my two career jobs that I wanted to do.
And so after he raped you, you went to go get tested in November.
I did. Every time I linked up with Elijah, I went and got tested. My first test came back negative. The second test came back, okay, Elijah, what's going on?
Because in November you found out you had syphilis and chlamydia.
In November is when I found out I had syphilis and chlamydia.
And he did not want to respond to you.
He did not want to respond.
Yeah.
So, but in October is when I asked him the first time. I said, Elijah, are you like completely like clean? Because now me and Elijah is having contact. Not me, my friend, and Elijah. Me and Elijah is having
contact. It's just you guys.
It's just me.
He's
and
already
him.
raped you twice, and now you just want answers.
Right. So it's just me and you, and it's just me and Elijah. And I asked Elijah. I said, now for my sake, do you have anything?
Right.
Elijah was like, no.
No, which is a lie.
It's just.
Because like I told you, he had syphilis and chlamydia when I was with him in 2022.
Correct.
In 2023, here it is October. You know you got it from him because was he the only person that you was sleeping with for a set time?
Yep.
I'm not trying to get too in your business, but we know who we sleeping with. Yep. We know when we know, and there's no reason to lie. This is your sex partner. I mean, if you're willing to admit that he raped you, if you're willing to admit that the rape happened twice, you know that you got syphilis and chlamydia from him. I know, like I said, I have been willing to say that I did get chlamydia from him. I did not get HIV or syphilis from him. I want to talk about some of the sexual things that Elijah would do. In my documentary, I mentioned how Elijah saw us as sex objects and sex toys. You said Elijah, I'm just going to go down the list, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You said Elijah asked to tie you up, right?
Yeah.
You turned him down?
I did.
You didn't trust it?
I didn't.
You said, you mentioned Elijah liked to be choked. He wanted you to choke him. He wanted to choke you, which one time, I know we already talked about this, but just so we can have it again, Elijah choked you so hard one time that even when you said the safe word, he wouldn't stop choking you, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned, a lot of people don't know, but you mentioned that Elijah asked you to engage in scat play, right? Mm. A lot of people don't know this, but scat play is when people like to include fecal matter or feces into their sex. So for a guy like Elijah, who is a bottom, he wanted to basically put his feces onto Mitchell's penis by having anal sex. So a lot of times when a bottom wants to have sex, they'll clean out so their anal cavity won't have any fecal matter in it. Well, Elijah enjoyed getting his feces on people while having anal sex with them. You turned him down, right?
Correct.
It's all right. It's all right. It's okay to cry. You're a survivor. It's okay. You feel like he demeaned you? Yeah. It's all right. And during the rape, during the sexual favors, all you wanted was a friend.
Yeah.
Somebody to hang out with, a guy, you know, he had a nice TV, nice game, you know, he had some smoke, but you were, for those past 3 months, raped and used for everything that you were worth, right?
Yeah.
Was there any time where you felt suicidal because of what Elijah did to you?
It was, and you don't know how hard it is for somebody.
Okay, so I want to pass this scarf. As you guys know, this is the scarf that I wear to remember my rape and to think about my rape. And I'm going to take this scarf off and I want to give it to Mitchell, because you're the only one that was willing to get on camera and talk about your sexual assault and your rape with Elijah. So I'm going to give this to you, all right? Okay. Passing it on to you. I want you to keep this. And I want to say thank you so much for being brave. Thank you for coming forward. I'm proud of you. And I want you to keep this. And every time I think about my sexual assault, my rape, I always put this on. I put it over my head. But when you go home and you think about what he did to you, I want you to wear this. And I want this to be a reminder that these are your stripes. These are your stripes. And the stripes that you took while you was with him are the stripes that are going to help bring him to justice.
You are not alone. I'm still here with you. Though you're far away, I am here to stay.
We're here at the police station. I'm here with Mitchell. We took a ride over here from downtown. Mitchell's waiting to give a statement.
I am here with you.
And
maybe they take it forever.
Though you
Everybody
far
here has been really sweet, though, really nice to us, but we're
apart,
waiting on
you're always in my heart. Every day I sit and ask myself, how did love slip away? Something whispers in my ear and says that you are not alone. I'm still here with you. Though you fall away, I am here to stay. You are not alone.
So I wanted to show you guys something. Like I said, the money that Elijah had given me from Singapore and the chocolates that he had given me, I threw both of them out a long time ago. Don't have them, but I forgot I had something on my windowsill when I first had fallen in love with him. Before I knew anything, or much of anything, I would say, about his character. And I wanted to show it to you. I had wrote this with a sharp object. I had etched our initials next to my window. And I had just remembered today that I had did that. I didn't know that I was just his victim. When I first got my therapy session started, my therapist had to literally pry everything out of me. And I don't mean what had happened to me. I mean the realization of what had happened to me. When I first got my therapist, I told her, I said, I need help for me and my relationship, me and my boy. I didn't know anything. And my therapist had to help me understand, Jay, you were severely raped and you were abused. The entire time you were with him, he was abusing you, Jay. And I said, okay. And then everything started to unfold of what he was doing to me, that I was just his next victim. If I told y'all everything that Elijah did to me, y'all probably wouldn't even believe me. He did so many horrible, disgusting things to me during our a relationship. He purposely defecated on me during sex, and I remember he tried to trick me into having a threesome, and it was sometime around maybe the end of October, beginning of November, around that time in 2022. And he had called me because I always didn't hear from him for a long time. That's what he would do. That was his game. That is how he controlled me. That is how he conditioned me. He would starve me out of attention. I wouldn't hear from him. And the whole time I would just be wondering, was he okay? Was he going to die from drugs? What was going on? And he knew that. And so he thought that was funny too, that I had anxiety about his drug addiction. He thought that was funny. I remember him mocking me. Yeah, are you high? He thought it was all funny. It was actually, it was in the daytime. It was in daytime. He had texted me on Snapchat and said, why aren't you over here? That's how he talked to me. Why aren't you over here? And I said, if you want me to come over there, invite me over there, to St. Regis. And he goes, just come over, just because he wanted to have sex. And he insinuated that he wanted to have sex, which is what he always wanted. And so I said, I'll be over there. And he goes, I believe he said he's here, or he said my friend's here. And I went and I said, your friend's there? And I believe this is a man, they sold him weed. I think it was his weed man. And he said something like he got the smoke or whatever. And Elijah knew I didn't smoke weed. And so I was like, is he going to be over there when I come? And Elijah said, yes. And I said, why? And Elijah said, I'm being bad. And I said, what? He wanted us all three to sleep together. And he wasn't going to tell me that until I got over there. He just wanted me to know that someone was over there. But once I got there, he was going to try to get me and the other person to have threesomes, because Elijah enjoyed having threesomes all the time. And so I said, you want us, all three of us, to have sex together? He said, yeah. And I said, no. I said, I thought you liked me. He said, I do like you. And I said, I'm not sleeping with somebody who I don't know. This stranger, I don't know his name. I don't know his face. I'm not coming over there having no threesome with somebody else. I don't want to do that. And so Elijah said, well, I'll send him home when you come. Because I said, I'm not coming over there if he's there. I'm not coming over. I'll stay home. So Elijah sent him home. And so when I came over there, normally when you want to have anal sex, you'll clean out. Well, I've been in a situation where a guy has, they call it painting. When I'm just going to say the word, when you shit on someone's dick during anal sex, they call it painting. I was only in maybe one situation where a guy had got maybe like a little speck. And I was like, hey, you, and he got up. I didn't make him feel bad about it. I moved on. Well, that was different with Elijah. Elijah purposely defecated on me. Okay, so when I went over there, we started having anal. He purposely did not clean out before I came over there. And while we were having anal, it was a lot of his, he started to paint me. And his shit was all over his butt, and it was all over my stomach. And I stopped and I looked down and I said, hey, something's going on. You had an accident. What I noticed about that situation is Elijah did not apologize. He did not look embarrassed at all. He stopped because he had his legs up when we were having sex, and he put his legs down, and then he looked down and he got up, went to the bathroom, wiped himself off, and got back into bed. He did not apologize. He didn't say, oh, my bad. Oh, I'm sorry. And that is because he did it on purpose. I didn't know that at that time. But when I met Mitchell, I talked to Mitchell. I said, would he ask you to do anything? What would he ask? And Mitchell said, he asked to shit on my dick. And that is when I realized that Elijah had defecated on me during sex on purpose. He could have asked me first before he did that to me. Of course, I would have still said no, even though he had asked, because I'm not into that kind of stuff. But he didn't want to ask because he didn't want to give me a choice to know that it was going to happen. He used me as a sex object the entire relationship. I remember him asking me, he told me somebody had gave him some sex rope for his birthday, some BDSM rope. And he said, can I tie you up? And he never did it, but he asked to do it. And I asked Mitchell, did he ask to tie you up? Because he has to tie me up too during sex. It was this thing where I just really realized, especially after talking to Mitchell, just how low he had degraded me. And there are some days where I wonder, is it easier to just kill myself rather than to continue to live with the memories of the things he did to me? Is it better to just take my life? But every day, I try a little bit harder. And I still try to go out and have fun and live a happy life. And every day, I try harder and harder and harder. But what I know in my heart is that in May of 2023, I decided to, without Elijah's knowledge, start working on this documentary while working at the hospital. And knowing that I have prosecuted him, knowing that I have helped his victims get some kind of comfort, some kind of retribution or solace, knowing that I've helped them in any way, does make you feel a little better.
You know where I'm going. Tonight I'm going to the first place that I ever took Elijah out on a date to. I had to trick him. I had to trick him to let me take him out on a date. I said, why don't you come walk with me? I love walking. I'm gonna take you to the park. I'm gonna take you to the rose garden. And I took him at night and it was so beautiful. He thought it was beautiful when we sat on the bench together. It was the first place I ever took him out. And I thought to myself, when I first met Elijah, I was depressed. I was extremely depressed. Nothing I tried would work. I hated all of my jobs. Nothing was working. But when I first met him, he brought me joy. He brought me so much joy. He made me smile. And for the first time ever in my life, I was satisfied. And I remember when I came to see him, he put his photo book in my hand. And it was pictures of him graduating. And there was a picture of him with his dad. And I remember looking through his photo album and seeing him. And I thought, this boy is making me happy. He's sexy, he's funny, he's got a future. He's building community centers. There's no way he could be a bad person. There's no way. Not my baby. I was so wrong. And now I'm mourning because I don't know if I'll ever in my life have it for anybody else, the love that I had for him. I don't know if I'll ever have it. I don't know how to have it. I don't know if it's anything left. This is where I took him. This is the first place that I ever took him out on a date. The Rose Garden. And I will come here night after night, look up at the moon, and when I was making my documentary, I would come here and I would look up at the moon and just think, one day I want to marry somebody here. And I think I'm going to do that. And I don't care what nobody got to say. This is the place I've chosen. I chose this place before I met him. I've decided again that if I get married, I want to have 2 weddings. Because I'm fabulous. And I'm Jay Hunter. And I want to have 2 weddings. One to honor the day and one to honor the night. I want to love again. I want to love somebody again. I do. I'm just scared to, terrified to. It's hard. So I'm out here walking because when I get angry or extremely depressed, I go take a walk, no matter how cold it is, no matter how hot it is, because I struggle with being trapped indoors. I'm standing in the very first spot where I stood in the opening of my documentary, The Boy in St. Regis. This is where I stood when I opened it. This is the park where I sat at, where that car crashed into the tree right over there. I came back to this place because this is where it all started for me. I spent 6 months trying to help Elijah get off of drugs, trying to help him with his STDs, trying to educate him on safe sex, not knowing the entire time that he was a sexual predator of the highest degree. I should have been spending those 6 months helping people escape him and avoid him. But I did not know what I know now. To anybody that my ex-boyfriend has hurt in any way, if he has raped you, infected you, emotionally abused you, I would like to apologize for him. From the bottom of my heart, I am so sorry for what he did to you. I don't know all of your names, all of your faces, but if my boyfriend preyed on you, emotionally abused you, cheated on you, raped you, molested you, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. You did not deserve that. I hope what I have done to bring him to justice can bring you any comfort, knowing that somebody does care. So, Valentine's Day is next month. I don't have a date yet, nobody to go out with, but it's really hard to get back into dating. I still haven't dated anybody since Elijah. It's hard. I am a victim of narcissistic abuse. Elijah was my narcissist, and so dating after narcissistic abuse, it is really, really hard, traumatizing, and it's just, I don't know. Nowadays, I don't even know what guy is worth my time. I just, and I don't want to sound arrogant. It's just, when you've been played, I mean, every single game you could think of, Elijah played with me. Every game, everything that anyone has ever played or tried with anybody, he tried on me. And when you've been done like that, it's hard. It's hard to give another man your time. But I'm looking. I just ain't found nobody that I like. I like all types of guys, though. I like all types. I like a guy that is confident, but not too cocky. I can't do arrogant. I can't do, oh my God. I like a guy, I think I said before, I like muscles. I'm really into muscles. I've always liked guys with muscles. I don't know. I'm a skinny mini, so I just like guys with muscles. I like a guy that is smart, intelligent, but not a smart ass. I like a guy that's cool. Also like a guy that's a little weird like me, you know. Don't be one of those people that's so like uptight, like let loose. And I like a guy with a big old booty. I always have to say that. You guys know, if you guys watch my Twitter, I'm an ass man, baby. I like a man with a nice ass. I like a man with some yams on him. I need it. I need something to grab onto, to hold on to.
like Spike Lee all night long till we tired. You got them yells. Goddamn. 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 You got them yells. Goddamn. Goddamn. I use two hands when I grab them tightly. Then he slide it down on me real nicely. Yeah, I get it real creepy like some ice cream. Make it make the Rudy sounds, man, I might scream. We about to make a movie like Spike Lee. We about to make a movie like Spike Lee. We about to make a movie like Spike Lee. All night long till we die. You got them girls. Goddamn. 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 Don't hurt nobody, Jay. And I'm stepping on with a big, sexy guy in my ride. He got them yams, goddamn, goddamn. Oh yeah, can you see me in the ring? I'ma beat the pussy up. I'ma let the nigga see he gon' never get enough. I really can't believe that you got them yams. Don't see me in the ring, I'ma beat the pussy up. I'ma make a nigga see he gon' never get enough. I really can't believe that they got them yams. Goddamn. I'ma beat the pussy up. I'ma make a nigga see he gon' never get enough. I really can't believe that they got them yams.
I remember around February of last year, I was laying on the floor every single day in pain, physical pain because of what he was putting me through. My therapist told me that my body was literally just crying out for me to make a change because I was being abused. To this day, I believe that he enjoyed the pain that he put me through. I believe he enjoyed it. He knew what he was doing to me. And so around February, I decided I need to walk away from this. How do I do this? How do I say what I need to say? I've tried so many times. How do I walk away? So I text him and I said to him, we need to talk. And I thought he was going to ignore me or block me because that's all he ever did to me. And he caught me by surprise and he said, okay. Because I was ready to block him or just do whatever I could do. Like that was going to be my sign. I was still madly in love, but I was hurting, deeply hurting because of what he was doing to me. And I remember I came down here to the plaza, which is the only thing that really brings me joy about this city. And I said, okay, well, when do you want to talk? Because I was ready. I was ready to say, you are hurting me. You are abusing me. I need to leave. I need to walk away. We can't do this. And he said, well, they're keeping me late at the office. And so once I get out the office, we can talk. And I said, that's not like him to be willing to talk like that. What is? And I said, okay. And I don't know why, but I grabbed him a big cookie and a iced coffee because he drank my iced coffee. Last time I came and saw him, he drank all of it. So I bought him a really big cookie and an iced coffee. And I said, all right, I'm on my way over there to St. Regis. And he waited at the door for me. And he called me. He said, where are you? And I ran right over that bridge. See that bridge right there? I ran across that bridge holding his coffee.
and his cookie that I got him. I said, I'm on the way. And I got to his apartment. He was in his work clothes, and he was so tired. And I couldn't get the words out. I couldn't say what I know I needed to say. I couldn't get it out. And so I sat him on his bed, and I looked at him. Somebody who I had poured 5 months of my life into, cooking for, helping, doing everything I could, helping him get off of drugs. And I said to him, I said, you are not disposable to me. Because I meant it. And he looked at me, he listened to me talk for an hour, and I held him. And the entire time I was laying next to a serial rapist who had not only took advantage of my body, but who would continue to later on prey sexually on innocent men. The entire time he was lying to me about his status, and the entire time he willingly knew that he was torturing me. After I told him that, the abuse got worse. He continued to do what he did. Up until the very end on April 4th when he told me, stop talking, this is the end of us. You know, I sat on his bed with him, and I said to him, I said, you can't treat me like you treat everybody else because I'm special. And he looked at me and said, I can tell. He thought I was funny. But when I said I was special, I meant that shit. I meant every word of it. And it was not the judge that brought him to justice. It was not the lawyers. It was not the prosecutors. It was me, Jay Hunter. When I said that I was special, I meant that I was not them other dirty dick niggas that you fucked over. I was not them simple-minded bitches that you played in the faces of. I am special from the head to the toe. And I meant that shit when I said it. And so the boy right there in that apartment right there in St. Regis where I was raped, he's going to find out what I meant when I said I was special. You cannot fuck with me. I brought him to his knees. I brought him to justice. It should have happened a long time ago, but didn't nobody else have the balls and the strength to do it like me, and the power to do it like me. He gonna always remember my name. He gonna always remember my face.
I remember last February, I was holding Elijah, and he had just got through cooking for me. And I held him in my arms, and I said, I want to take you out for Valentine's Day. I want to get you a bunch of hearts and candy and balloons, and I want you to be my Valentine. And Elijah said, no. And I was holding him. You know, we went to sleep together. He loved to do that. And I'm thinking, what? And Elijah said, no, I don't want that. I want to be single. And I thought, what? What is this like? And I can't do this. I can't play these games with you anymore. You are playing me. You are ripping my heart out of my chest. I've been dating you since I met you, and we've been off and on, and I get that, but I'm holding you in my arms after you just cooked for me. And you're telling me no? I got out of bed. I said, I'm going home. It was 4 o'clock in the morning. I said, I'm going home. And Elijah grabbed my arm and he said, no, just stay. Just stay until I got to go to work. Just stay with me. And I said, no, I'm going home. And he said, you feel like I wasted your time? And I said, yeah. And I said, why are you doing this? And Elijah said, I want you in my life as my friend. Are you going to block me? And I said, no, I'm not going to block you. And I said, I can't do this. I'm going home. I didn't have no way home. And I start putting on my shoes. And as I was putting on my shoes, Elijah, he was laying in bed and he said, "Baby, please don't walk away." And I turned around, I looked at him like, what is wrong with him? Like, what is wrong with him? And I said, I put my hand on his knee and I said, "I love you." And I walked home in the freezing cold. This is February. I walked all the way home. We still continue to date even after that. When I first met Elijah, I didn't see myself as the victim. Not at all. Not at all. I thought he was the victim, honestly. But I would slowly learn more and more that he was conditioning me, manipulating me the entire time. When I first met him, he wanted some fried fish. Being a country boy from Alabama, "I want some fish." I said, "Okay." Well, I bought fish, I bought everything, and I came to see him. And I said, "Do you have a pan so I can cook the fish?" And he goes, "No." I said, "Okay, well, how are we gonna cook the fish?" So me and Elijah, we went to Walmart to get us a cast iron skillet. I said, "If you wanna cook fish, we gotta get a cast iron skillet." So we got in his car and he always drove. And while we were driving, Elijah, he was masculine for me. He was masculine. I always like masculine guys. And I said to Elijah, I said, "You're my trade." And that was just a joke. Trade is a straight guy or a masculine guy that pretends to be straight but is really gay on the down low. And so I said, "You're my trade." And Elijah goes, "What's trade?" And so I told him what trade was. Like, I explained to him. And so we went to Walmart together and we got a cast iron skillet. We bought it, he bought it. And then we got back home and I cooked for him. That same night when we laid down, he goes, "I knew what trade was when you were talking about it. I knew what trade was. I just pretended I didn't know." And I looked at him like, okay. And he said, "I'm just so good at manipulating people. I just don't even know when I'm doing it anymore. I pretend to be naive." I never suspected of him being a predator. But he was literally telling me to my face, "I'm a manipulative, evil, sick, twisted son of a bitch, and your dumb ass can't even tell, Jay." That's what he was telling me. That's what he was telling me. When I came to see him one time, he told me that we were going to go to the store. I hadn't seen him once again. He was always doing this thing where he would invite me over, cancel on me, invite me over, cancel on me. That was a way to manipulate me too. That was a way to control me too. So he can prove to me that he could have me whenever he wanted me. And I came to see him, and I don't know if he was high or not. I know he had smoked weed, but I'm not sure if he was on meth or cocaine at that time. It was hard to tell when he was on it, when he was not on it. Sometimes I knew he was on it, but he told me that we were going to go to the store. Of course, he ended up not doing that. And after we slept together, he looked at me and said, "I'm going to get you something to eat, and I got to take you home." And I got so mad. You can't do this to me. I'm a human being, bro. Like, he was starting to slowly devalue me more and more. He was starting to bring down my worth more and more and more and more. And I didn't even know he was doing it. And so I got mad. I laid in bed with him and I got mad. I just got mad. And Elijah said, hey, why you acting like that? 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 And he grabbed me and he squeezed me. He said, "You just a big baby. You just a big baby." And he took me to get Go Chicken Go, which was his favorite. And he took me home. And when he pulled up to my apartment, he looked at me and said, "Have a good day and don't let those people stress you out." In my heart, I didn't see him as a predator. I didn't see him as a bad person. I just thought, damn, this guy, he making me feel things that I ain't ever felt. And so I went to kiss him, and Elijah, he never knew how to, like, He didn't know that when someone kisses you on the cheek, like you let them kiss you. He would always have to kiss me like too when I did it. So I reached to kiss him and he kissed me back and he kissed me on my lips really hard. And I'm like, oh my God. And I left, went upstairs. After that, the torture and the devaluing, it got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. I came to see him and I laid with him and he was telling me about the guys that he had dated before. Elijah, he really didn't really care too much for gay people. And he really didn't care too much for black people either. Being a boy raised in Alabama, you know, I'm sure he had heard a lot of things about black people being in a state like that. And he told me, he said, I didn't used to date black guys. And then he said, but I really didn't think that black people really, you know, I didn't really like black people. But I started dating black guys. I think Elijah fell in love with the sex from black men. I think he fell in love with our bodies and what we could do and what we could provide. Because the way he talked about gay men, it wasn't like he really valued any of us. It was just like we were just for sex. And so I laid on his bed and I was just trying to convince him to take me serious. See me, see that I love you, see that I care for you, and take me serious. Like, value me, please. Like, I love you, boy. I'll do anything for you. And Elijah said to me, he said, well, I want to date like a lawyer or like a doctor. And he said this while I was right next to him on his bed. And he said this as I was laying right next to him. And he goes, but every time I date high caliber men, it never really works out. He didn't think I was high caliber at all. I was no doctor. I was in between jobs, but those doctors and lawyers didn't dedicate 6 months to try to help him get off of drugs. And those doctors and lawyers didn't get up at 5 a.m. to come see him. And those doctors and lawyers, they didn't do everything in their power to make sure that he had a love and support and someone behind him to help support his dreams. I mean, I listened to him talk about his dreams. I tried everything I could to show that I'm here for you, but he didn't think I was high caliber. And he didn't think that I was worth anything. And after he said that, we went to sleep with me holding him. After he said that, I just haven't found the right one yet. And I thought, what am I doing here? That was also the same night when he had finally revealed to me that he had cheated on his ex. You know, the reason why I know Elijah's ex name is because he kept his game profile on his TV. And I saw his name and his last name. And he talked about his ex all of the time. But he didn't tell me that he cheated on his ex chronically until the very end of the time that I was with him. And it broke my heart into pieces because he told me, he said, I would cheat on my ex. I did it 3 times. And I would just turn off my location when I would do it. And I thought, how evil is that? How cruel is that? That your ex, the way that he knows that you're cheating on him is by seeing that you turn off your location. So randomly throughout the night, if he saw that Elijah's location was turned off, that was a sign that some man was fucking his fiance, that they was having their way with his fiance, and there was nothing he could do about it because the location was off. So even if Elijah's ex wanted to confront him about cheating or show up at the house, he didn't even know where he was while he was getting fucked by a stranger. This is somebody that he was supposed to marry. And he told me this while I held him in my arms. And I still saw Elijah as the victim. Still. It took a lot of therapy to realize that I was the victim. Elijah, he hated that his boyfriend did not want to have sex with him. His boyfriend struggled with mental illness, and his boyfriend struggled with being gay. And so Elijah told me, he said, he would rather masturbate than sleep with me. That's what he told me. His boyfriend would rather jack off and than to touch him. And so Elijah hated it because Elijah had already been let down by his family. I told Elijah one day, I said, you push me away. You push people away because you've been let down so much as a child that you can't trust people who are actually there for you. And Elijah went, oh, that's so sweet that you knew that. He don't like Elijah does not like when you deny him sex because he sees sex as validation. Because his ex that he loved didn't want to touch him, and because his parents had let him down so many times and had failed to give him the adequate love and attention that he needed, he saw sex as that valuable attention. And when he didn't get it, he would threaten people, he would fight people, and rape people. When you turn him down, when he wants to have sex, or when he needs that constant validation, he gets angry, and he takes it by force. And that is what he did to Mitchell. He grabbed him, choked him, spit in his face, and forced him to have sex with him. Because when you deny him that, it brings him back to his ex. It brings him back to his childhood when his parents did not give him the validation that he deserved. Elijah told me, he said, when he would cheat on his ex, he would think about him while he was cheating on him. He would think about him during sex because he wanted his ex to have sex with him. But his ex struggled with being gay and did not want to touch Elijah. And that angered Elijah. When Elijah met me, I said to him, I said, you are so special. We were on our way to sleep. And Elijah, when he would sleep next to me, he would get so close to me that he would lay in my neck. He would lay right here on me. And one day I woke up and I looked at him and I said, you're so special, you don't even know it. And Elijah said, you're special too. Elijah wasn't special. He was a whore, a coke whore, who I opened up too much room for in my heart. I don't know how many people my ex-boyfriend has infected with his diseases. If I told you the number that I think of men that he has slept with, I'm pretty sure that that number is probably way higher than what I think it is. Elijah, he devalued me. He treated me like I was not even a human, that I was just used for sex. He treated me like I was a thing. And when he wanted to reel me back in, he would give me what he knew I wanted, which was love. He knew that I cared for him. He knew that I was lonely, that I was looking for a friend, that I was hurting. And so he thought, if anybody will come fuck me, Jay will come do it. If all the other men won't come over, I know Jay will do it because Jay loves me. And I can use Jay. I asked Elijah, I said, will you hang out with me on my birthday? We just had an argument and I told him that he couldn't keep using me for sex. And I tried to see if I can just reach for any kind of care inside of him. And I said, will you just hang out with me on my birthday? And Elijah said, I can't, I have to get ready for graduation. And I said, but you don't graduate until May. It's like March. Like my birthday is not until March the 25th. Like you don't graduate until May. And so he goes, well, I can't. We have to get ready. Like we're busy. And I said, yeah, but you know how to like travel like really good. And like, I want to travel for my birthday. I want to go somewhere. Can you like help me travel? Elijah looked at me and said, use GPS. I said, okay. I said, well, I don't have any plans for my birthday. And Elijah said, because you don't have any friends. And I thought, why is he like this? What is... And then on my birthday, I saw him with somebody else. I was just trying to have a good time on my birthday and prove that I didn't need anybody, that I could just do things on my own. And I saw him on my birthday. I walked right past him, looked him dead in his eyes. And he looked at me like I was nothing and did not even speak to me. And he kept going with the guy that he was with, whoever the guy was. They just kept walking. And I just kept walking. I didn't understand it at that time. I knew he was an evil son of a bitch. I knew it from the first day that I met him. But I didn't see him as a predator. I didn't see that. I would hold him in my arms and I would cry sometimes because I would think, this boy make me so happy. He's sexy, he's smart, he's funny, he gives really good hugs, he got a beautiful body, he got pretty little hazel eyes. There's no way my baby could be a predator. I knew I had to make that documentary because nobody else wanted to come forward at that time. Nobody. Elijah is a bottom. I am a top. And he knew that if I ever said anything about him raping me, he knew that people wouldn't believe me because he's a bottom. But he forces people to have anal sex with him. He that is rape. He is a rapist. He beats people up and fights people if they don't want to sleep with him. I made that documentary to warn people about him. And I learned how to do that from Beyonce. You know, just 8 days before I released my documentary about the crimes that happened against me in Kansas City, Beyonce did her last show from the Renaissance Tour in Kansas City. Her last show was here right before, just 8 days before I released my documentary about the crimes against me in Kansas City, where me and Elijah were both living. Beyonce, she brought all these amazing artists here to Kansas City to help shine the light on my city before I told people what happened to me in my city. And I don't think she did it on purpose as a favor to me, because I don't think she knows who I am. But she released a documentary and a trailer of her sitting in a movie theater. She was about to tell the world her life story through her documentary. But just 8 days after she did her last show and released a trailer for her documentary, I released my documentary in Kansas City, the same city where she had just did her last show for her tour. I learned from Beyonce how to put these songs and videos together, to tell my story about my pain, to help somebody else heal. Beyonce says in her documentary, Life is But a Dream, there is no drum roll or trumpet that goes off when you make the biggest decisions of your life. Sometimes you don't even know that you've made them. By me making that documentary, I helped so many people who had been molested, raped, and abused by people they loved, people they trusted, or strangers on the street. I did not know how many people I would impact with that documentary. When I said that I was the defender of those who had been molested or raped or sexually abused, I meant that. And just about 5 months after I made that documentary, I was escorting Mitchell to the police station, the same police station where I pressed charges against Elijah, to help him press charges. Being a beacon of hope for those who have been sexually abused. If you have been brokenhearted, used, abused, raped, verbally abused, mentally abused, sexually molested, cheated on, lied to, deceived, manipulated by somebody who you care for or loved, may the tears you cry water the trees that you will one day eat from. And may your darkest nights reveal your brightest stars that will lead you home. My name is Jay Hunter. I'm a singer, a porn star, a producer, a writer, and the king of the gays. I took that ring box just about 2 weeks ago and I threw it in the creek, in the same place where his love letters are, in the same place where the money is that he gave me from Singapore. All the things that I have for Elijah are all buried under the water in the Theus Creek, right in the plaza, right across the street from the Nelson Atkins Museum. His love letters that I wrote for him and that ring box is all thrown in that creek, buried where it should stay. I don't need it no more. I don't have that connection. He destroyed everything. And now I'm just trying to move forward in my life because I got my whole life ahead of me. Elijah, he preyed on so many people that when I meet some of his victims, it takes me back to a deep depression. Well, I remember that the man that I once loved was a rapist. My ex-boyfriend was a rapist, is a rapist. And it's not always easy to stomach that. Sometimes it drives me mad. Gay men, we want to be loved just like everybody else. We want to be coddled and babied and spoiled and listened to and talked to and held at night. And as gay men, we deserve to know about our partner's sexual diseases before we sleep with him. But Elijah did not believe that his victims deserved to know his sexual diseases before he slept with him. He didn't care. He didn't care. He didn't think that it was their right to know. You know, they always told me if you get on Jack'd or Grindr, you might meet a murderer. I had no idea that I would meet my own rapist on Jack'd, on that app. I had no idea. You know, it took a long time for me to see myself as the victim instead of seeing Elijah as the victim, because he was a victim of drug abuse, cocaine and meth. He was addicted to vaping, weed. He was addicted to poppers. And it got out of control. But towards the end of our relationship, once I met those two young men, about a month after we broke up, I knew, my eyes were open, that he was the predator and that I was the victim that whole time. I never forget, on March 20th of last year, I had reached out to Elijah after not hearing from him from a long time. And I said, can I come see you? We can do whatever you want to do, you know? And he said, no, it's not a good idea. And I came by anyway, and I knocked on his door. And he opened his door and he said, what do you want? And I said, I just want to talk. Can we talk? And so he let me come in. And Elijah looked at me and said, I'm going to call the police on you because you came by unannounced. And so, you know, narcissists, they can cross over all your boundaries. He was already exposing me to HIV during that time. He had already done it to me. But me coming by, he had threatened to call the police on me just because I came by to see him. And I begged him to get a therapist on that day. I said, will you just get a therapist? You're not right. You need a therapist. And Elijah said, get out, just get out. And I said, I'm here for you. I'm here. I want to be here for you. And Elijah, he said, get out. And I said, do you never want to see me again? And he said, get out. And so I looked at him. And I was about to walk away, and I turned and I said, I really do love you, Elijah. I really do. And I left. And on April 4th, about a month after that, I called him. I was sitting on the Nelson Atkins steps, which is one of my peaceful places. And I called, and it was so windy that day. And I said, can you hear me? And Elijah said, yeah, I can hear you. Who's this? And I said, I just want to know if you are okay. Because I was worried about him dying from a drug overdose. That was always a constant fear of mine, because he had almost died after he raped me because he was doing cocaine. And Elijah said, oh, and hung up. And on that day, April 4th, because I would not stop texting him, Elijah texted me, if I'm honest, I want nothing to do with you. I had given this man the bottom of my soul. I had come by and cooked for him. I mean, I had walked to the store in the cold to get him fish and to get him French fries. I had come over and helped him clean up his place and listened to him and talk with him and listen to about his dreams, and just spent my whole 6 months trying to be there for him. And now he told me on April 4th, if I'm honest, I don't want anything to do with you.
In a little tent, I've been running ever since. I'm gonna say, come on, y'all. I was born by the river in a little tent. Whoa. yes you will. Said I go to the moon, and I go downtown. Yeah, to keep on telling me, boy, don't you hang around. It's been a
I found that video of EJ Jones singing. I found it yesterday. I was actually on my way to sing for my grandma for her birthday. My grandma is a first lady of a church, and my grandfather is a pastor. And every year on February the 11th, on her birthday, I try to sing for her and sing all her favorite songs for her. And I saw EJ, and tears just started rolling down my eyes because he was so humble, and his voice was so beautiful. And I heard it, and it reminded me of me. You know, when I started singing, I just wanted to sing for my grandfather, you know, but I also wanted to sing for people who were like me, people who needed music to help guide them and lead them. I just wanted to be humble and sweet and just come out with good music. But I didn't want to do music anymore. You know, after a while, it got so frustrating for me. And I didn't really enjoy doing music until I fully took over my music career. I completely took over. I'm my own manager. I'm my own label. I have complete full control over my music. I don't want anybody's hands touching my music, anybody in any way, and that's how I prefer it. I like it like that. I will have it like that. And I look at EJ singing at such a young age. It just reminds me of me growing up singing. And they said that EJ's mom passed away, and I got grateful in my heart because I have my mom still. My mom is always there for anything that I do. My fashion shows. I started out doing theater and orchestra at Purcell Academy, my high school. And I started doing something called Laugh Fest. I started Laugh Fest, which was a fundraiser. It was a comedy sketch show that I wrote and directed to help raise money for our theater program. And it took off. And they were doing it even after I graduated. They still kept doing Laugh Fest, but I started it to help us raise money. But I've always been doing videos and plays, and my mom was always there. She's always there when I do my music videos. She's always there, except for when I'm in the nude. She's not there for those videos, but my mom is always on the sidelines when I'm doing my music videos, and to have her is such a blessing, you know. I think about being an artist now, being a singer and a porn star at the same time. It is challenging, but I love doing both now. At first, I hated doing music because I had lost. And when I met Elijah, I had just gave up on my music career when I met him. And Elijah, he did not care that I was a singer. He didn't care that I was a singer, and he did not like that I was a nude model. He hated it. He knew that I didn't sleep with anybody on camera, but he hated that I showed my body on camera. But that was the whole point of why we were supposed to meet. And people don't understand that. Elijah did not like that I did porn or that I was naked online, but that was the only reason why we were supposed to meet. We were not supposed to be together. We were not supposed to date. I wasn't looking for a partner. I got on Jacked in 2022, September of 2022, to find someone to do porn with. And Elijah tricked me, lied to me, and told me that he was okay filming with me. Just so he can have sex, because he was willing to do anything for sex. None of my hopes and dreams mattered. Nothing about me really mattered to him, you know, which I didn't know that at that time. I would slowly find that out. But the first time that we had ever had sex at all or slept together at all was on September 24th, the night that the accident had happened. I came over to collab with him that night. And when we slept together, like I said, it felt like two souls had found each other. And after we had did what we had done, Elijah, he went to go get us something to drink. and I went to go check on him, and he said, let's get in the shower. And we showered together. And this was the first night that we were, that we had collabed ever, that we had ever had sex at all. And when we showered together, we kind of made love in the shower. And I remember telling Elijah, I can't get my hair wet because my mom had just braided my hair. And the picture that I sent Elijah, I had just got my hair done, and that's the picture that I sent him. That's the first picture that I sent him. But I told Mitchell at the police station when Mitchell was pressing charges, I told Mitchell, I said, do you know the first picture that Elijah sent me? Do you know it looked like a mugshot? And like, I always thought about that. It was kind of blurry because Elijah was very discreet. And I can guess why, being a sexual predator, I can guess why. But his picture looked like a mugshot. He was looking so serious like this. And it was kind of blurry. And I thought, okay, he's cute, you know, whatever. Had no idea that he was gonna pursue me. Elijah pursued me, and I'm clear about that because he pursued me first. He asked to date me first, and then after that, that's when the manipulation started. That's when the lies. We aren't together. We are together. We're just friends. I'm not. That's when that started. After that, but he was always like that, pursuing me, calling me, saying he'll do things, he won't do things. And the last time that we had ever slept together was actually on this day. On February 12th, last year, on the night of the Super Bowl. I remember I was trying to compromise with him. He kept saying, we're friends, or we're just friends, you know, after doing the whole game, which of course, somebody told me that he told someone else that we were together. So that was a part of his game during our relationship. And on February 12th, I came to see him, and he was supposed to meet my brothers. My cousin Lee, we call him Dado. He was supposed to come to Dado's birthday party, and at the Red Door, and Elijah goes, you want me to meet the fam? And I said, yeah. And he goes, I'm not ready for that yet. And so when I came to see him on February 12th, I came because he invited me over to watch the Super Bowl. And it was just us. It was just us. And so Elijah goes, so when I meet your brothers, what are you going to tell them? That I'm your boyfriend and that we have an open relationship? I did not want an open relationship with Elijah. And I told him that. I told him when I was at the bookstore, I called him around February and I said, I don't want an open relationship with you. But I was going to have one regardless. He was going to sleep with all these men and he knew it was hurting me. But what he would do is, if I tried to ask for more from him, or if I try to say, don't sleep with these guys, he'd pull out and say, we're not together. And that is what he did constantly. And that is a part of the abuse. I remember just feeling so alone while he was out there sleeping with all those men. I just remember night after night crying my eyes out because I was being blocked, left on read. And then I was terrified that he was on drugs. And can you believe that even after he told me that he didn't want nothing to do with me, can you believe at my job, I told my best friend, I should have did more to help get him off of drugs. Can you believe that? Mind you, this is before I found out that he was threatening, other guys and that he had attempted to rape another boy. This is before I had known about that. This is before I didn't even know about that yet. And I'm sitting at my job talking about I should have did more to get him off of those drugs. And the whole time he don't give a fuck about me. But on February 12th, we were sitting together and we were watching Rihanna. We were laughing at Rihanna because we were laughing at her dancers. We thought they were funny. And Elijah, he just was running around and he always called me light skinned. I don't know why, but he always called me yellow and light skinned. I don't really think I'm light skinned, but he used to always say, bring your little light skinned ass over here. Sit your little yellow self down. And so I was running around being funny, and Elijah goes, will you come sit your yellow self down? So I sat by him and he just started messing with me. Elijah always messed with me. And so he was pushing me and I was like, okay, like leave me alone because he always messed with me. So he pushed me again. I said, all right. And so he just kept messing with me. And I said, okay, stop, bitch. And I said, oh. And I never cussed Elijah out. And I said, I'm sorry. And Elijah said, if you're going to be here, you got to respect my space. And I said, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. And so we started laughing at Rihanna's dancers and Elijah. He kept running around and he kept pushing at me and poking at me. And so I got up and I grabbed him And I put my hand on his booty and I kissed him and I said, I know there's good in you. And I sat on his lap and he wrapped his arms around me. Elijah had pretty big muscles. He had big biceps. He wrapped his biceps around me, his strong arms. And I sat on his lap and he held me. And it wasn't like anything else. It wasn't like a normal, like, oh, I'm hugging someone who I care about. He held me and rocked me. The entire time that we were watching the aftermath of the Chiefs game. And we had just got through riding around the city, just us. And he held me, but he wouldn't let me go. And he was squeezing me tight. And he kept me like this. And as he sat in his chair, he just held me like that in his lap. And he picked me up. He grabbed me by my thighs. We were the same height, but Elijah was really strong. And he grabbed me by my thighs. And he picked me up. And kissed me so strong and so passionate. And then that night, I slept with him raw, with no condom. And all that time that we were making love, he knew he was sleeping with me, knowing that he had HIV. The entire time he was lying to me. He slept with me without protection that night, knowing that he was lying to me. And I remember the next day waking up, Elijah was so jealous. He didn't like me to show my body. He didn't like me to do anything. He didn't like that. He thought that I was talking to other men. And so I was talking to my mom the next day, and Elijah came out of the bathroom butt ass naked because he thought I was talking to some boy, I guess. And he walks and gets into my face, and I said, I'm talking to Mom. And I remember thinking to myself, the entire time that I was with him, he was cheating on me. And the reason why I say that he was cheating on me is because he told me that he didn't want an open relationship. He told me he didn't want that. I didn't want that. And I told him I didn't want that. And yet he would sleep with all of these men while he was abusing me. And he knew it was hurting me. And I thought to myself, all of these strangers, all of these nasty, you know, Elijah, I would always get food for him, take care of him, always took care of Elijah, always. I had ordered a pizza for us. Elijah had nothing to eat over his apartment one day. And I ordered a pizza because he loved Paul's Pizza. Elijah would eat anything, but he loved Paul's Pizza. And so I had got a pizza for him, and he thought I was going to leave him. Elijah always thought that I was going to ditch him. You know, he could ditch me and tell me to leave whenever he was done wiping his feet off on me. But he thought that I was leaving him, and he's like, you ditching me? And I said, I'm going to go get the pizza. And Elijah said, you got pizza? And I said, yeah. And, you know, I took care of him. I cleaned him up after we had sex. I held him in my arms. I gave him the best of me, and he gave me scrapes of his love and affection only when he wanted to abuse me. When he was gone in Singapore, I used to play Summer Walker, her song. I used to play one of her songs, and she said, I just want to make up for lost time. And so when Elijah came back, he didn't know that I was playing that song. But when he came back from Singapore, he told me, I want to make up for lost time. He knew the right things to say to pull me right back in. When I would finally get strong enough to leave, or when I would leave him alone, or when I knew that this wasn't working, or something's not right, this boy is abusing me, I gotta leave him. He would know the right things to say to trick me. And as soon as he came back from Singapore, he started doing meth. And I told him, Elijah knew that I was a hero. He knew it. I said, where are you at? I'm coming to get you. And I didn't even have no car. But as soon as he came back from Singapore, the first thing he told me was that he was on meth. So I didn't always stay just because I was in love with him. I also stayed around to help get him off of drugs because I didn't want him to die from drugs. But he didn't give a fuck about me, and he let strangers, even though I took care of him and loved him and was there for him and nurtured him, he let strangers fuck the shit out of him, and they didn't give him
any of the love and support that I gave him. They didn't give him a fraction of the love and the sacrifices that I gave to him. And they got to have all of him, just like I got to have him. They got to have every piece of him. And he probably gave them more because he always wanted to impress them. Fuck niggas. He always wanted to impress them, but he didn't do shit to impress me. He gave them the best parts of himself and then gave me the scraps because he wanted to impress everybody. He wanted everybody to think he was cool, but nobody liked Elijah. People would block him. People would lie to him. They would use him. People would steal from him. People would block him immediately because he was a horrible, annoying, evil-ass person. And so people would block him. They would deceive him, lie to him, and try to hide from him, block him on Jack, block him on Snapchat, and never speak to him again. And I was the only one that stayed around because I saw value in him. The reason why I thought that me and Elijah were meant to be is because when I was 19 years old, I learned how to read signs, tell things. I don't know if it's the universe speaking to me. I don't know what it is. I call it spirit. I say spirit is speaking to me, but I learned how to understand things on a spiritual level. And I always was able to do that. My favorite movie, one of my favorite movies is Their Eyes Are Watching God. Halle Berry, Michael Ealy, my two favorite actors. And Janie and TK, I always wanted a love like them. And when I was in the closet, I didn't have no boyfriend. I was single for a long time. When I was 19 years old, I lived in this apartment, this old school, old fashioned apartment. And I lived in there lonely with no man. I used to dream of having a man, a boyfriend who would hold me at night. I used to dream about it. And in the movie, Their Eyes Are Watching God, Janie cooks TK fish. The first meal that she ever cooks for him is fried fish. And so the first meal that I ever cooked for Elijah was fried fish. And so when he pulled that fish fry out that cabinet and told me he wanted me to make him fish, it reminded me of Janie and TK. And I thought maybe we are going to have a love. I didn't get it. I had to put the pieces together. But I didn't understand it. But something had to hit me during my therapy. Jay, you can never love him because he is your rapist. And I didn't understand it at that time. But I got it now. And I got it on April 4th. Elijah, he said horrible things to me. I hadn't seen him in a long time. And so I checked on him on April 4th. Because I was so worried about him. I hadn't heard from him in 2 weeks. And my thought was always either he has died from an overdose from drugs or either somebody done beat him up because my boyfriend slept with everybody. Okay. So I called him and I called him from the Nelson Atkins steps. And when I called him, I said, I just want to know, are you okay? And Elijah said, who is this? And I said, I just want to know if you're okay. And he heard my voice and he said, oh, and he hung up because he didn't want me anymore because I put my foot down. I told Elijah that he could not use me for sex anymore, that he had to respect me, that he had to start treating me better. So because he was abusing me, when I asked him to respect me, I had to go. No, I'm not going to love you. No, I'm not going to respect you. You either get used as a doormat, you either let me use you for sex, or you leave. Elijah looked at me in my face and he told me on March 8th, he told me when I had brought him flowers, I told him, I said, we cannot do this anymore. If you cannot love me and respect me, we cannot do this. He told me, I'm going to smoke and forget all about you. He said that after 6 months of me giving him my love, the bottom of my soul, that's how he talked to me. And so on April 4th, I would not stop texting Elijah. And he was mad because I came by his home to see him. I had come to see him to check on him. And he had kicked me out. He said, get out. He let me in, but he told me not to come. And I came by anyway, but he did let me inside of his home. And so when I came in, I was trying to get him a therapist. I said, you need a therapist? And he didn't like that. Elijah did not like that. I said, you need a therapist? You're not. You have to get a therapist. Because I still thought that he was a victim around this time. And so Elijah said, get out. And so on April 4th, Elijah started saying horrible things to me. He said I was using him as a cope. He called me crazy, which was his main goal. The entire time he was abusing me, his main goal was to make me gaslight me and to make me think that I was crazy. The entire time. And I remember some of his last words that he said to me was, if I'm honest, I don't want anything to do with you. And so I'm looking at the last words that I sent him. I was just trying to say to him, let's just do the friendship thing. I was trying to think of any way to keep him close so that I could still watch over him, because I felt like I was his guardian, even though I wanted to be his man and everything. I felt like I was his guardian because I was trying to get him off of drugs and all those things, but and protect him from other people, because I knew one of the people that Elijah slept with, he told me that they took his wallet. They took his credit card out of his wallet. Another guy, I thought was, so he slept with everybody. And so I was trying to protect him from those guys while he was doing nothing to protect me whatsoever. Elijah was putting my life in danger the entire time that I was with him. He was putting my life in danger when I was dating him. And so on April 4th, Elijah, I told him, after he told me, if I'm honest with you, I don't want anything to do with you. After Elijah said that on April 4th, when he texted me, if I'm honest, I want nothing to do with you. 10 days after that, I got hit by a bus on my bike. And I could have died. The cars that were behind me could have ran me over. 10 days after Elijah said, if I'm honest with you, I want nothing to do with you, I was riding my bike just 10 days after that, because I had just got my new job. So I was really excited. So I went to go ride my bike. And this bus, this lady, she didn't want to share the lane with me. And so I guess she thought if she moved over, she would get me to move out the lane. Well, she hit me. The side of the bus hit me. She sideswiped me and hit me and knocked me off my bike. And I fell on the ground and busted my knees, busted my elbows and everything. And when I laid on the ground, one of the first things I said, because I was shaking like this because I was in pain, when everybody came to me, I said, is everybody okay on the bus? Is everybody okay on the bus? And they took me to the ambulance, and when they laid me in my hospital bed in the ER, what I realized as I laid in that bed is that this boy don't care whether I am living or dead, because I hadn't heard from him since that day, since April 4th. Elijah will always tell me, I don't think we're compatible. I don't want this. I don't want to be with you. And then 3 days later, he would text me, are you okay? You want to come over? You okay? I miss you. So I had got into that pattern that he'll break up with me. He tell me he don't want me. And then 3 days later, he would change his mind. Well, when I laid in that bed, after being hit by that bus, that was the day I realized this boy don't care whether I'm living or dead. He don't care. I laid in that bed knowing that. And then maybe just a few weeks later, I walked into it because my boyfriend fucked everybody in my city. I walked into a random stranger's apartment, 2 boys, 2 young gay boys, and he had fucked both of them, but he had preyed on both of them and threatened both of them. And they told me the things that he did. And at first, I didn't really want to believe. I knew he was a horrible, mean person to me. Come on. But I thought I was the only one that my boyfriend had raped. I did. I didn't know anybody that he raped. I didn't know nobody's name. I didn't know nobody's face. I didn't know my boyfriend was a serial rapist. I thought I was the only one that he had raped. And so when that young guy told me what Elijah did to him, that's when I knew. That's when I knew. And I asked him, I said, will you come to the police with me? He said, no. I said, okay, can you give me a written statement about what he did to you? Like, text me. He said, no, I don't want to say anything else. I don't want to be bothered with Elijah. I said, oh my God, Jay, you know what you got to do. So the last message I sent to Elijah was, it's no use. I promise you, on April 4th, the last message I sent to him was, it's no use. After he told me he didn't want nothing to do with me and all that, the last message I sent to him was, I'll never contact you again. And that was on April 4th. But if you scroll down after that, if you look on Monday, June 15th at 6:48 p.m., after I met Mitchell, I sent him a new message.
I said, reporting my accounts will not stop me from warning people about you. You are a serial rapist, Elijah, and you purposely infect people with diseases. And you lied to me about your HIV status, which is a felony. I will prosecute you for your crimes. You know, I told the detective in a recorded room, I said to him, I said, Elijah preys on young people. See, he preyed on Mitchell. Mitchell's a young man, 21 years old, and he used Mitchell for his body as a sex slave. See, Elijah has the nice apartment. He has the weed. He has the TV, the game. And so he lures young people into his home so that he can prey on them and use them and abuse them. He enjoys having sex with people while abusing him. That is his fetish. Okay? That's what he did to me. And so Elijah, he had a threesome with Mitchell. But as you notice, Elijah started requesting to meet with Mitchell one-on-one. Like a wolf among sheep, Elijah picks on young people to use. And the last guy that I had met back in April, he had already done it to him. And so Elijah started to prey on Mitchell next, using him as a sex toy. You know, Elijah, he wiped his feet on me. But I grew up as royalty. I grew up a grandson of a first lady and a pastor, where people would come to see my grandparents every year. And my grandparents would sit in these chairs and people would honor my grandparents. And I grew up singing for them and playing for them and traveling. And people would honor me too because I was my grandfather's grandson. I was known as Jay the singer, Jay the artist. Only to be reduced by Elijah. Only for him to take me down and treat me like I was nothing. Treat me like I was his good time. Treat me like I was a doormat. When I knew I'm a king. I'm worth more than this. I deserve more than this. And I told my detective, I said, Elijah, he preys on young people. These young people, they have lives. They have futures. They have dreams. Mitchell is a minister. Okay? Not only that, but the other people that Elijah preyed on, one of them wants to be a criminal prosecutor. Elijah preys on these young men and he infects them with his diseases and he ruins their lives early on before they can move on. They get chlamydia and syphilis from him. They can catch HIV from him because he willingly sleeps with people without telling them that he has it. These young people deserve to have a future without having these diseases from him, without being abused by him, I asked Mitchell, did he make you feel suicidal? Mitchell said yes. And I told my detective, I said, if Mitchell was to take his life, if I was to take my life, nobody would ever know that we took our lives because of Elijah, because he would have all the messages erased off Snapchat. He would block us and have all the messages blocked on Jack. And nobody would ever know that a 21-year-old took their life because they were being abused sexually and mentally by Elijah's disgusting, whorish ass. Absolutely not. I refuse to let him do that to anybody else. So I got these young people. I got them. They come to me about Elijah because they know I'm going to do something. I talked to Mitchell 2 nights ago. He told me that he cannot get a hold of the sexual assault detective. I told him, come Monday, I'll call him again and I'll be your mediator. I'll get you another date where you can come in and speak. Because when I said that I was a defender for the sexually molested, for the raped, I meant that. But Elijah, he preyed on these young men. He ruined these young men's lives. They're never going to forget what it felt like to be raped by him. They're never going to forget what it felt like to be preyed on by him, infected by him. My baby, my love, the man who I gave my heart to, he raped and abused these young men, and don't nobody give a fuck about them but me. Because don't nobody like gay people. Don't nobody care about us. They make laws against us. They hide us. They tell us to stay quiet, be gay, but stay in a corner. And when we get sick and when we get raped, the system don't give a fuck about our rape, our sexual assault. These people don't give a fuck, y'all. So I have to call the detective over and over again. I have to call my lawyer over and over again. I have to send emails to a prosecutor because I got to get a rapist off the street before he rapes somebody else. You know what I told the detective? In a recorded room, I told him, I said, I want everything I do to be monitored. Elijah, he had his Instagram was locked. Twitter was locked. I kept everything out in the open. But do you know what I told that detective? Do you know what I told that detective? I told him in a recorded room, I said, I will put an end to him. I will put an end to him. See, I could always report my rape at any time. People don't understand that. But I was within my statute of limitations. I could have always reported my rape. But that lady at that police station, she was waiting for me. But do you guys want to know something? Elijah knows where I stay because he picked me up when we first met. Elijah knows that I stay right next to the police station. A lot of people didn't know that. But let me show you something. You know what I did? I went right to the first place where we met. You see that police station right there outside of my apartment? Now, do you see that parking lot? That parking lot is the first place where I met Elijah. He was right there in his car, in his Infiniti in 2022. He picked me up right there. That's the first place where we ever met outside of a police station. And on October 9th of 2023, I walked right into that same police station and pressed charges against his nasty, disgusting, rapist, filthy, foul, whore ass. I never forget, I looked at Elijah and I said, I've come over to see you at 5 o'clock in the morning, per your request. And you can't even keep a dinner date with me. You can't even come to a date with me. You know what Elijah said? He looked at me and said, he don't care. So when I said that I became evil to take him down, I meant that I had to turn off my heart. I had to be a heartless bitch just like him. I had to turn off my compassion for him. I had to turn off all of the love I had inside him. I had to turn it off. Because let me tell you something. When I said that I would put an end to him, I meant that shit. And just like he don't care, when I set out that I was going to take him down by any means necessary, I didn't care either. And I don't care. I don't give a fuck what happens to him. I don't give a fuck what happens to him in prison. I don't give a fuck what happens to him in these streets. Whatever it takes to take that nasty ass whore down, I will do it.
Watch out for the niggas with the Apple Watch. Boys who think they better than you cause they got degrees. Having dinner with the head of the university. Don't give him all your time if that nigga don't love you. Don't give up no dick if he think that he above you. He got fuck boy swag like his old ass dad. He was sending thirst traps on his old Snapchat. He mad, he wanna get his lick back. He mad, he wanna get his lick back. He mad, he wanna get his lick back. Well, he can't get his lick back. I don't care, nigga. 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 Fuck boys don't dance at the club. They just bossy bop. And they don't take no for an answer when you tell them stop. After they abuse you with the lies and the games, they turn around and smile as they walk across the stage. It don't matter if he leave behind a trail of victims. He'll just buy more drugs so his pain don't afflict him. Had to drop the dot. It was hard, it was gritty. But you a predator and we don't want you in our city. He mad. He wanna get his lick back. He mad. He wanna get his lick back. He mad. He wanna get his lick back. Well, he can't. He can't get his lick back. I don't care, nigga. 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 I said I heard that he don't like me. He ain't gotta like me. He ain't gotta like me, but he gotta see me win. 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 I heard that he don't like me. He ain't gotta like me. He ain't gotta like me, but he gotta see me win. 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 I said take your little dirty ass back to Alabama. tables gon' turn. He mad, he wanna get his lick back. He mad, he wanna get his lick back. I don't care, nigga. Yeah. He was cruising through our city in his little white Honda, always tryna fuck without wearing any condom. Fuck boy swag like his old ass dad. He was on his Snapchat tryna send some thirst traps. He mad. Oh God. See you next week, Jay. I be dogging you out, don't I? Oh yeah. It's Jay Hunter, the king of the gays. Now if you gon' walk my runway, you better serve, you better work, bitch. And you already know how it goes. If you can't pose, you get chopped. Judges, prepare for a bloodbath. I'm serving face, I'm serving body, I'm serving butch queen. Give me my tens, please. I'm serving face, I'm serving body, I'm serving butch queen. Give me my tens, please. 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 Walk the category, walk the category, walk the category pose. I said walk the category, walk the category, walk the category pose. Bitch, sex siren, face, body, femme queen, Benji girl, trade. Can you walk trade? Let me see you sir trade. Now walk for me, walk for me, walk for me, walk for me, walk. Yeah, you can talk, but can you walk? Can you walk for me, 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 walk. Let me see you get on your tippy toes, get on your tippy toes, get on your tippy toes, bitch. Let me see you get on your tippy toes, get on your tippy toes, get on your tippy toes, bitch. Fuck it up, bitch, fuck it up, bitch. Fuck it up, bitch, fuck it up, bitch. Fuck it up, bitch, fuck it up, bitch. I win, you lose. I win, and you lose, bitch. I win, and you lose. I win, and you lose. Walk for me, 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 walk. Yeah, you can talk, but can you walk for me, walk for me, walk for me, walk for me, walk. Let me see you fucking walk the category, bitch. Don't be scared. It's not like you're gonna get anything over 6. You tried though. It's cool. I understand. I told the bitch don't fuck with me. I told his ass don't fuck with me. I told his ass don't fuck with me. He didn't listen. I told him not to play with me. I told him not to play with me. And now that country bitch done learn his lesson. And make sure y'all tell Elijah he will always lose against me. Always. And don't you ever fucking forget it. Remember my name. Remember my face. I'm so happy tonight. So happy to be out here. I could cry. You see that right over there? Right over there. That's where I'm going to get married one day. Right over there. Can't really see it because it's dark, but that's where I'm going to get married. And then you see the moon is spying on me. The moon is my friend. Right behind the trees. It's not full yet, but it's almost full. It's so beautiful. This is one of my secret places that I come to. I feel like I'm in paradise when I'm here. I just haven't been as happy in a long time.